Everyone, welcome back to another Wrestle Purist podcast. This one is going to be a review, it's a proper review of the WWE Premium Live Event or pay per view, whatever you prefer to call it, Night of Champions from Saudi Arabia in a Jeddah Superdome. Real nice venue. A show that was interesting. It definitely had its highs and its lows, but we're going to get into it. It happened about an hour ago, so it's still kind of fresh. We're still kind of like getting our takes, getting them set and stuff like that. But first things first, please like, subscribe, super chat, always appreciated, all the good stuff. And yeah, man, we're gonna dive straight into it. First things first. Big AO doing the WWE pay per view reviews.
I'm just
Always got something interesting to say
I'm
about
just
them.
here, bro. You know me, man. Just the biggest WWE fan you know. Just out here standing up for WWE, kneeling for WWE, watching 7 hours of Fed content a week. You feel me,
hmm
Monty? Just on my backup hangman shit over
You do,
here.
yeah, man. You do your research, bro. But yeah, man. AO's in the building. We've got Charlie, of course, tag team specialist aficionado. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. It's been a good day. Finally sorted my sleep schedule, kind of. We'll see how long that lasts with Double or Nothing being tomorrow,
Yeah,
but yeah, glad to be
tough.
home. If anyone's wondering about the change of setup, I'm now at home and not in my university accommodation.
Beautiful stuff.
Good
Yeah,
times.
the sleep pattern stuff. It's always going to be brutal for us British
Mhm.
professional wrestling fans that, for some reason, just have to watch everything live. We
Absolutely.
we're
They
just
don't
not
get what we
patient
go
enough.
through in it, bro.
Yeah,
Safe.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
man.
mean. So you see all these British fans who are miserable on the timeline. I
That's
think
all
there's
it
something to
is.
do with
Let's
it,
be
bro.
down
There's
to it.
correlation there, man. I'm telling you. Lastly but not leastly, Ibu of Wrestle Purists. How are you doing today? How did you find the pay per view?
I'm doing pretty good. I kind of like the idea of watching the pay per view when it's done. The sun is still shining outside. It's kind of nice, to be honest. And I love you guys in the Wrestle Purist universe, which is why I spearheaded the initiative to give you guys more content with the crew here. So I'm doing good, and president, but nah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good, and I actually like Night of Champions overall. It wasn't a perfect show by any means. It's a WWE PPV pay per view. So like you're gonna get a bunch of Peacock commercials and some weird booking and shit like that. But I actually thought it was a pretty good event, a smooth watch, couple good matches, a good bloodline angle. Not as fun as Backlash the previous month because Puerto Rico was just on fire. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I did think it was a good show, and we're definitely gonna get into it. Um, what did you think of the show, AO? The big WWE fan of
All
Wrestle
right, so
Purists.
before I get into my agendas, I'll tell you what I really think of the show. I
Right.
feel like it had high highs, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it had really low lows. The Saudi crowds, they're usually hot from what I remember. I don't know. I watched like maybe like 60% of the Saudi shows, but I feel like they was really hot for some shit like Sammy, obviously,
Yeah, they were up
me,
and down, man.
Cody, Seth, shit like that, right? But
Mm.
like they were dead for Bianca and Oscar, who'd be over as hell anywhere else, and like even Puerto Rico that didn't really wasn't really there for Bianca was like booing the shit out of her or whatever. At least she got a loud ass reaction. They were just kind of like sitting on their hands for that shit. So that was weird. There was a couple other matches that I feel like Rhea versus Natty was a waste of everybody's time. I don't think Rhea looks like more of a killer or gets a rub or doing anything by squashing Natty. I think they should have just gave a match for the fans if they were gonna book this shit.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You wanted to see Natty wrestle?
No, I didn't, but they
That's
booked
what
the
I'm saying.
match.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
My
Yo,
fault.
hey,
Natty,
People
Natty
like,
Nightheart, friend of the program,
yeah,
friend of
yeah,
Wrestle
yeah.
Purist. No
All that shit, all
disrespect,
that,
but
all that.
I'm just saying, bro. I don't think Rhea gets anything by squashing her. Like, I don't. There's like you said this is exactly what a Rhea versus Natty match should be in 2023.
Yes, yes.
But is that not? While that's true, is that not a waste of everybody's time?
I am a big believer in different types of matches on a pay per view, in the sense that like not everything should just be back to back, like long epic back and forths. And so breaking up the action of two big matches with a match where someone emphatically gets a victory is fine by me. I think we need more of that in wrestling, personally speaking. And I don't think it's a detriment to the show that you get the big star entrance from Rhea Ripley, and then she lets everybody know that she's so fucking her that like nobody can push her at this point. And to me, I think that nobody should push her unless you're like on the level of a Bianca Belair.
But
And
the
so
thing
I could see you saying that's a waste of time. That's fine. But I'm not opposed to the concept of get her on the show and get a title defense on the show and let it be that short, because to me we need more booking that's like to make a point rather than to just like make cage match, if that makes any
But
sense.
don't you think that the point has already been made with Rhea Ripley?
Yeah, that's what
And I
I'm
think
saying.
that's I think that's what I was trying to say. Like,
I
we all
don't
know
think she gets
what
a
Rhea
rub at
Ripley
all
is.
by doing
That
this.
she's dominant, you saying?
Yeah, like she's
and
already
like,
well established as dominant. You know,
Hey, Hangman, you can take everything that you just said, right? Everything that
Right.
you just said, and apply it to Volta. And if they had a 60-second squash instead of that 8-minute match, which one are you taking? You taking a 60-second squash where Volta looks godly, or you taking that 8-minute match that was a lot of fucking fun?
No, that was like my second favorite match of the
That's
show.
what I'm
probably.
saying, bro. So like you could have done that.
You know what the difference is? You know what the difference is? Walter's so good at just beating the shit out of people, and he's really enjoyable to watch in that type of match. Not that Rhea isn't.
the squash itself, for what it was not bad at all.
No, it was a fine. It was a perfectly fine squash.
Rhea, in terms of like her current appeal and gimmick and character, is closer to Jade Cargill than she is to Walter, in my opinion. Do you get what I mean by that? So like the presentation, the look, the vibe.
She's her own lane, man. She's her own lane. Yeah, I wouldn't, because I don't. Jade Cargill's so. She's like a science lab experiment at this point, you know what I mean? Like, especially with the booking and stuff, and it's like every fan's got a different take of like how to like figure it out. Even though like I know a lot of people think that when she comes back, that should be the person that deals with her, wins the belt off her and stuff like that, like breaks the streak. But even still, like there's just getting to there and how does Stat beat her, etc., etc., etc. Like everyone's got a different take on it. She's just so unique in that sense, and like Gunter's just fucking
God.
yeah, like
he's the god.
Yeah, I think Rhea's in her own kind of lane of like dominant champion, you know. But as I always said, and the point he's trying to make, so that it's already been established with her, man. Like she don't need to be doing like squash shoes, and even if she is going to do it, she doesn't need to be doing it on pay-per-view. You know.
I got a question for Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie, you specifically, don't worry about fucking brands and shit like that because the company themselves don't really care that much. Who's a wrestler on the roster that you'd be perfectly fine watching Rhea go 8 minutes with then?
Natty.
No, like, nobody's trying to watch.
Listen, the veteran former champ.
Nah, you're not gonna get that off. You're not gonna get it.
They could have. Monty, I'm seeing the vision. They could have got the story off that Natty's an old dog, but she might have some new tricks. She's not done yet.
Saudi would have came up for the sharpshooter spot.
Rhea's like what, like 25? She's 25. Amon's a huge new star, all that. But Natty said, "I got one left in me." You feel me?
Monty. I mean, Ayo, you know what Monty's waiting for? He just needed heat and a sharpshooter as an excuse to give this shit a 3, and call it better than the Oscar match. That's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. And when Rhea squashed, he was like, "Fuck."
I actually can't think of an answer. I can't think of someone that would be good in this role right now.
That's what I'm saying. Because Charlie, when you look at the WWE women's roster, the hierarchy is weird. It's like there's the elite.
Your main eventer or a jobber.
Literally, you're literally a main eventer, or you're just a fucking bum. Like, no, not bum in that way, but it's like you're like those TV people that they throw in tags and no one really cares, and you're not that over. And it's that big of a gap. They don't have a women's mid card right now. It's literally just epic title match wrestler or the bottom. And so because of that, we do find ourselves in a fuck situation. So yeah, I get what everybody's saying, but like also at the time of the show when Natty's music hit, I literally said out loud, "Fuck, it's Natty." Not because I hate Natty.
That's a bit spiteful.
I missed her entrance. How did the crowd react to that?
I don't know.
They popped.
They popped for her.
It's a heart, bro.
Everyone always
Shit
pop
up,
for
you know?
Natty.
It's
That's
like,
what's up. At least you got a pop out of it tonight.
y'all have never watched a wrestling show and you see how many matches are left, and then like you're chilling, you're having an alright time, and then like someone's music hit and you're like, fuck this match, like you're just like, and so
The chat
Go
The
ahead.
chat's saying that Liv and Raquel are literally the only mid carders, and I agree with them.
Sure.
And Liv's
Yeah.
out,
And Liv
so
Morgan
it
is
leaves
hurt.
Raquel, who's kind of protected by Triple H. Triple H loves her, so
Yeah, he loves Raquel Gonzalez. That's the thing. It's just like,
I wish they'd done more with Mia Yim, man.
sure.
Bro, why is she
Yeah,
a geek
yeah.
in W? She's great. She looks great. She's working great. Like,
She had
why
so
are
many
they?
good matches in Impact,
Mhm.
and like she came back to WWE, and it's just like they just
I don't
slotted
know.
her
Right,
straight
right,
back into
right.
doing
Bro.
bullshit. Like,
Her current role right now, I kid you not, is running out to save AJ Styles when the female valet of his opponent interferes. So like this week, Scarlett got involved in the Styles cross
Yeah.
match, and so she came out and like beat up Scarlett. And like a few weeks ago, like who's the bitch with no shoes on in the Viking Raiders? Sarah Logan.
Sarah Logan.
So she got involved.
Valhalla.
Valhalla, yeah. They
Yeah.
give it to Valhalla.
She got involved with like the Good Brothers shit, and so Mia Yim comes out to like jump off the barricade and like clothesline her, that type
Oh,
of thing.
brother.
That's a role now. Yeah.
At least you're getting paid. I
Yeah,
guess.
you know.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least you're getting paid.
I got a name. Piper Niven and Rhea Ripley could be some good.
Ooh.
Yeah, I could see.
yeah.
Like
Good
Piper
one.
could tell a story where she's like the only one big and bad enough to stand
Right.
with Rhea. Like,
Yeah.
She could
go
throw
to
you
war for 8
around.
minutes.
She throws Rhea around, and Rhea's like, "What the fuck?" Like she makes that face, like, "Wow, like all right, I'm in a match here," you know. And you can do some stuff.
Man.
Yeah. But so Night of Champions was
Well, we've
early
already
today.
started now, brother. You know, incredibly, we've somehow started on Rhea Ripley versus Natalia. But
Right.
Yeah,
since
you know,
we've basically just done it, has anyone got anything else to add
yeah,
on Natalia versus Ripley? I think
No.
we covered it pretty much. You know,
yeah. So
go on,
But-
Ibu, get
yeah.
us
yeah, but to recenter us,
onto the opener.
yeah, Night of Champions, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. WWE Premium Live event, as they brand these things. We opened with the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament Finals. A bit of a controversial decision to have this match open the show because this is pretty much the biggest thing marketed for the show the last month. The finals was Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. They didn't build this much on TV directly because they're on different shows. They did a bunch of interviews for both guys. There's some whispers out there that Seth Rollins had to leave the show early to get to a movie set. I can tell you that, I asked and I did get told that Seth did leave early. And that's why Becky's match was after Seth's, because they both had to get out of there because she was going to go with her husband. But yeah, this is the opener, finals of the tournament. Seth Rollins and AJ Styles had a back and forth match. It went about 20 minutes. AJ Styles, even in his older age, he did the dance. And I thought that this was exactly what I expected, which is that I'm not a big AJ Styles guy in the modern day, to be honest with you. He doesn't do that much for me nowadays.
Oh, 2023? Who doesn't do that much for?
I mean, there's some people who love AJ, but my point is, when the match graphic came up, right? People were like, oh my God, it's going to be like a match of the year candidate.
Yeah.
I never saw that. In my head, I was like, around a 3.5, they're going to have a good match.
Oh.
Wait, listen.
Just steady on.
When I saw the graphic, I was like 3.5. Seth is going to be great. AJ is going to be good. Seth's going to win. And cheers. And what we got was a little bit better than that. I thought this was a bit better than that. I thought this was a pretty damn nice match, to be honest. They went long and they did their stuff. And AJ did some cool AJ Styles things. I liked this, and I thought the right guy won. Charlie, what did you think of AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins?
I thought it was a good time. All the controversy about where it should have been on the card, I don't really care about that all that much.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was what it had to be. I thought the closing stretch was a bit stupid because he hit the stomp perfectly on his hand, but couldn't do it when he was going for the finisher. I don't know. It was a bit weird. But yeah, most of the match, I was having a good time with it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was good stuff, and I'd imagine you agree that Seth was the person who should have won the show.
Oh yeah, 100%.
What I'm looking forward to, not that I didn't have a bad time with the main event. I am looking forward to main events of WWE pay-per-views that don't include Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? I think it's necessary sometimes to take a breather, and it's not gonna hurt some of these B pay-per-views like a fucking Extreme Rules or something to have a Seth Rollins title defense. There's nothing wrong with Seth Rollins versus wishful thinking of Johnny Gargano, to close the pay-per-view. But yeah, Ayo, what did you think of Seth and AJ? I know these are two of your favorite guys in wrestling.
I fuck with AJ a lot. In 2023, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could go if he wanted to. He
Right.
doesn't have to, so he doesn't. Why would he? He's making a ton of money. His legacy is solidified. So he's just out there hanging out with his, drinking beer with the Good Brothers, hanging out with me and him. You feel me? Having a good time. Bro, he walked out with the biggest boo boo face of 2023. The biggest boo boo face since Jonathan Gresham went out there with no gimmick. With no gimmick, no flag, no octopus. Left his manager in the back. You feel me?
He's had a boo-boo week. Did you see the shit he was saying?
Bro, he was crying to the press. Everything he said was 100% correct.
He was like,
it's a cup title for cup champions. You feel me? That belt means nothing, my nigga. If you, like... And I don't even really think that the WWE Championship and the Universal title mean all that much either, as long as Roman Reigns is still around. Because if Roman's around, he's the main event, bro.
Regardless of who has what belt.
Yes. So it's just like, I don't know, bro. Like, there was a lot of pomp and circumstance for a nigga getting a third place belt. In my opinion, what's more prestigious to you right now? What would be a bigger deal if a person got this title tomorrow, right now? The Intercontinental Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship?
That's unfair. No,
it's not. It's a very fair question. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Monday Night Raw. Which one is a bigger deal?
Hey, why does the IC title have some value now? It's because Gunter for the last year has been really good with that belt, right? Because before he won it, who gave a shit? The belt is always as good as the holder. Gunter has given this prestige by having the greatest IC title reign ever.
So Seth's not him.
No,
which is Setsman I agree with.
He's just only held it for an hour.
Y'all saying beating Seth don't mean shit, and I can agree with that.
This is bordering spiteful now. You know?
My point is, people get into this like the politics of belt power scaling on Twitter, and I've always genuinely been of the belief that the man makes the belt. That's why in New Japan, certain never openweight champions, like it felt like a main event belt, and other guys, it doesn't mean shit. Yeah. And so with Seth Rollins, you know, for all we know, 6 months from now, he's gonna have so many good defenses under his belt on TV and pay-per-view that it means something, regardless of if he's under Roman Reigns or not. So that's a bit of an unfair comparison. But did you like the match?
It was cool. I give it 3 3/4.
Yeah.
AJ, as much as AJ went out there with the boo boo face, he ain't completely just
sandbag
day off.
Shit.
Yeah. He ain't just completely having a day off. Yeah, he did the dance. It was a nice little match. You feel me?
Yeah. What did you think, Monty?
I liked it, man. Like, I didn't have like you mentioned earlier, Rippy, like when some people saw the graphic, they were like, "Oh my god, it's going to be a match of the year contender." My expectations weren't quite as low as yours, and we was just saying before we went live, like I know AJ Styles, like he's getting older and he's he's aging. He's a little bit slower than he used to be. He's not as dynamic, He's less consistent, like to AO's point as well. Like when he doesn't show up every week because he simply don't need to these days. But in a spot like this for the new world title, regardless of the boo boo face and the podcast comments that weren't very they weren't exactly putting over the title too much. But regardless of all that, he still showed up and he put on a performance that was worthy of the occasion of a new world title on a pay-per-view. He's showing up, man. He's done his thing. And Seth Rollins, of course, he's been on good form. Everyone's been loving his matches lately, and this was just another one of those. So I thought they delivered it, like Charlie said. I've kind of touched on all your points. Like Charlie said, it delivered what it needed to be, and
right.
It was a good and solid opener. And I guess we just got to wait and see what Seth is going to cook with this title, because I do think he can make it like the work rate world championship, whilst Roman's doing his fucking, he's doing his cinema in the main event. I guess we'll just have to wait and see the caliber
bloodline cutscenes in the matches and shit.
Y'all
the opponents matters a lot.
Y'all think AJ cared that the belt didn't main event?
I don't think he gives a shit. I think he was already in fuck it mode when he found out he was losing.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, we'll see what Seth cooks there. But I know that our live chat has been cooking as we've been talking. We got a couple super chats which we really appreciate, and I'd like to get in a couple right now.
Yeah, let's get through them.
There we go. The trademark Charlie.
I'll go in order. What I will say before we dive into it, it's going to be important, like the opponents that they give Seth for this world title run, because we all know they fucked it up when they've given the world title in the past, man. So Giving people you can just work good matches with, man, and
Who's on Raw?
you'll make it work.
A lot of every good wrestler, AO.
Every good wrestler's on Raw. That's what's up.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
Chad Gable on Raw?
Who?
Chad Gable.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he
Chad
is
Gable
indeed.
will title
He-
program.
The
I'd like
Alpha-
the match.
With it, yeah.
that I could easily see them do that on TV literally tomorrow, or
Yeah.
2 days. First super chat from Zayd Natty, $1.99. Get Ibis on the show when Cody beats Roman. Yeah,
He's scared, bro.
I tried to
He
get
is good.
Ibis on the show.
Tried to get him on
when
Purist
Roman
before, didn't you?
retained. He ran from the ground, bro. He don't like people knowing he British.
It's weird because I've heard him talking. He just sounds like a normal guy from like London or whatever. Like, or I think he's a Brummie actually, but like, who cares? You know, we all have
I don't know,
accents,
man.
except me. I sound like a normal man, but you know, like
He's self-conscious. Yeah, you sound like something, all right.
Alright, we
Sound
got
like
Mr.
something.
Sparks. This is Ibu. It's your time to no, not Ibu. Ayo, it's your time to shine.
It's actually Richard Starks. $2
Oh
super
my
chat.
God.
Hey guys, Ibu, don't forget about dinner tonight. Purr. What you wanna?
What time do you need to get off, Ibu?
I don't have a cutoff time. We can go as long as you would like. And Richard does not dictate what I'm eating tonight because I'm not eating with Richard tonight. And I never have, and I never will.
No, I don't believe you.
Average Limp Biscuit and Joy with the £4.99. We appreciate you as
Thank you.
always.
Thank
You
you.
can add a comment. He never adds a comment. Average Limp Biscuit and Joy.
Yeah, say something, bro.
Not a man of words.
Let's put you
Chi-Town
over.
Appreciate the support all the way, though.
Huge 50 bomb from Chi-Town. We love this guy.
Appreciate you, bro.
He said, I don't support propaganda shows, but I do support good pods. Shout out to Seth for his Europa League win. Those Gunter banners were hella sus. Why does WWE keep doing fake Nazi stuff? real quick. Ayo got that shit popping on the timeline. He was
Bro,
like, "Whoop."
that banner's nuts.
It's
That's not like, yo,
fucking
a lot.
nuts.
I troll a lot, bro.
Yeah.
I troll a lot. That tweet's not a troll. That banner's nuts, bro.
It's one of those things where like it's like you could give it the benefit of the doubt, but like it's just kind of crazy
No,
right
you
now.
can't. Now with this nigga
They
Gunter.
keep doing this,
It's like
man.
what's going
Now
on?
with WWE, bro.
This
You
is like what, the
can't.
7th incident of them like doing something vaguely
Look at my
Nazi related
replies.
with him? Like, what is happening?
If you look at my replies, they have every single Nazi incident listed. It's crazy.
Could you? No, we're not gonna do this joke now, but yeah, no, it is pretty wild. Real Graps tomorrow. Yeah, double or nothing, man. Up
Nice.
Luton Town. Free my girl
Luton.
Free my girl Lujane Al Hathlul.
A lot
Chi-Town.
of a lot of UK football law in that
Yeah.
Chi-Town. $50 super chat. So you know it's his
Right.
stuff about the stuff what's going on over the pond. You know, beautiful story with Luton Town.
Mhm.
Europa League the Europa League line is that's a good one. It's a good one.
They said Seth on fucking Raw just playing Farmers League ball. Nasty. I agree.
But yeah, no, like legitimately, AO, when they did this draft, right? It's pretty hilarious because like iBeast, when they did night one, right? Like the big first graphic makes it look like SmackDown has a good roster because it's like Lashley, AJ, Roman, Bianca, and LA Knight. And you're like, oh, SmackDown stack. When I looked at the
One
full
sneak.
rosters, yeah, right. When I looked at the rosters, I was like, where are the niggas that can work? You know, like, and I was watching SmackDown this week, and like there was like a Rick Boogs match, and like a
Oh
fucking,
no.
there was a cross match, and there was
no.
like there was a Ashanti the Adonis match. I was like, this
Oh,
roster
no.
fucking stinks.
Ashanti Adonis getting singles matches, huh?
And I'm being semi bad faith because most of these were squashes for guys that they're trying to push like Cameron Grimes. But still, the point is, Raw has most of the good workers, and I think partially it's because they know that Seth is about to do the dance every week. So we'll see how that turns out. But we do know that his wife did the dance, so to a degree. She wrestled Trish Stratus in the second match. And like we spoke about backstage, I thought Trish was fairly competent early in this match, and they were getting after it to a degree. Becky's not the most athletic wrestler in the world, but she works hard, and I thought this was pretty okay. But then it kind of just kept going and going and going, and the longer it went, like the sloppier it got, and by the end, like it was almost completely falling apart. The finish was Zoe Stark, the recently called up Zoe Stark from NXT, she came out from under the ring and she screwed over Becky Lynch and seemingly struck up an alliance with Trish Stratus, and Trish Stratus got the win. And so Becky probably made this call because for those who don't
hold
know,
on. You're forgetting the part where Becky fucking broke her nose.
is that why
Zo-
she's so bloody?
Zoe,
Yeah.
Zoe Stark comes in, hits one move, and it seems like either the Stratus faction, but you would assume that it was the Zoe Stark
Zoe
finisher
Stark?
on the outside, because obviously
Okay.
both of them involve, face. But one of them busted a nose open. It looked like a broken nose from the way it was bleeding.
Yeah,
so
they just rubbed it all over his face.
Jesus.
she loves it. she wanted the
Damn,
pick, bro.
Yo,
Yeah,
you debut. The first thing you do is break the biggest star on the roster, women's roster's nose. I'm not saying it's still like the '90s or even like ruthless aggression, but
Becky's gonna give her a receipt. No.
She's gonna get that receipt.
She's casting a receipt. Becky's gonna give her like a shoot elbow in their match. To be honest, that's just how she is. But yeah, I can tell you guys this from insight. Becky, she wanted a lot of like the lower card people on Raw because she takes personal responsibility to elevate people. It's partially because of her ever ongoing beef with Charlotte Flair. And it's one of those things where she wants.
Yo, she's trying to emphasize. I'm not like Charlotte.
Yeah, no, I'm not even joking. Like she keeps a mental counter of like, who have I elevated versus who have you elevated. It's why when Charlotte came back in like December, she changed the Mania plans and told Triple H, "I'm putting over Rhea Ripley at Mania." So
I love Ashley, bro. What a queen, what a worker.
So they're
Becky
putting
bad.
over women out of spite for each other, which is very funny. So Zoe Stark was probably her call. I didn't think this match was good. I feel like it's the type of match that Charlie would have tweeted in 2 years ago. That was pretty fun with the smiley emoji. What did you think of Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch, Charlie?
I liked Becky's gear.
I did too.
It was cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kill Bill gear, man.
Look, man,
That was the best part about it. I have
Yeah.
nothing to say.
Yeah.
let's all just be honest here. Montel, Chuck,
Oh boy.
Evil,
All right.
that match fucking sucked. Oh my god,
It
bro. That shit was terrible.
I hesitate to use like garbage or something.
I thought there was worse.
It was really bad.
I thought like it was regular bad, to be honest.
I'm genuinely pretty close to where Reba was. Like at the start, I thought Becky was kind of doing a little thing. Trish was showing a nice bit of intensity and aggression and just being like a bitch. And then it just kept going. And it went like 4 or 5 minutes too long or however long. And then they done that kind of like, if you want to get Zoe involved for the finish, like okay, but like fucking think of something better to do than that finish because it kind of sucked, And then you throw that in with the match going a bit too long, and you come out of the match thinking, "Fuck, man, that was not a good time,"
It was just kind of bad. It started off alright. Like the first few minutes were alright. That's alright. Like the first few minutes were alright, but like I can't remember what spot it was specifically, but it just looked so shambolic. I checked out completely. I was
it the first time Trish tried to get her legs up on on Becky's shoulders?
Yes, it was. It absolutely was that. It was like
time to go home and be a mother.
I was like, alright, man.
You know what's the crazy thing? Right before that, right? Because Monty in the chat, like they were like, "This is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible." I was about to write in that chat, "This is okay," and then right as I was typing it, I kid you not, she did that botch, and I just deleted my message. I was like, fuck.
Bro, people on the timeline were just like, "Oh my god, Trish's psychology. Oh my god, Becky's brain." None of that was on display today.
To be honest, though, look, Becky does work hard. I do think Trish at the beginning, like she was doing like that, like she's putting her hands out to get booed, and she was showcasing the thank you.
It's a good start. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the start, and like I said, it just kind of,
Now, you know what it shows, though? I thought Trish looked better at Mania when she was in short bursts in the trios match.
That match was really bad, too, but Trish absolutely did look better.
I didn't think that was okay.
The 6-woman tag at Mania?
Damage Control versus...
that was really bad.
My opinion on that was... I thought that Lita looked awful. I thought Trish looked pretty good. And EO also looked pretty good. So it was like it was interchangeably okay to, shitty. But yeah, so I think we're all pretty much in agreement here with this match. What I will say about Zoe Stark is that she's an upgrade for Becky over the Grandma verse. And because, like we discussed already, because there's no mid card of the women's division, Becky has to do these kind of like alternate freak show type deals where she's working with like legends and she's doing other stuff. And she's a big star, and so a proper worker. What's up?
You've been joined.
Oh boy!
Oh shit!
Or the Holbert.
Mr. Holbert.
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Good evening, folks.
Let's get a Joe pop in the chat.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!
I heard there was a good house, so I said, let me stop by.
Let me pull back the curtain, folks. I talked to Joe last night. I was like, "We're doing a dance tomorrow, brother," and he's like, "Oh, the knees. I gotta rest the legs, brother. I gotta rest the body, brother. My bump card, yeah." And then, and then Joe peeked. And he teched Russell Ticks for this podcast, and he saw the house.
Saw how hot the crowd was.
Yeah, and
I got one more in me.
Yeah, he said, I could tag it and could take a couple bumps, and he drove to the arena.
I pulled up the video, and I saw this exact super chat with 50. I said, "Well, hold on, we're talking 50,
right. 50 bumps." Joe, what did you think of WWF Night of Champions in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, sir?
I'm very much in the middle. Going into the main event, I talked to Monty about I needed the main event to hit.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it hit to a dangerous level for me, to the point where I was like, I was pacing like some sort of animal.
Oh no!
It was shameless, right? It was what it was. But
yeah,
the rest of the show, I like the start and the end. The middle, I have quite a few issues. So
that scares me in regards to your opinion on the Cody match. We'll definitely get into that. My whole thing was that I had too many high-end pops from Gunter and Cody to like outright like think this was like a bad show or anything like that. It definitely wasn't like the Puerto Rico show, right. But yeah, it's a WWE show in the sense that I thought there was some good stuff. There's some pretty laughably shitty stuff in there, and there's a bunch of Peacock commercials. So
the pacing is crazy, right? The pacing is nuts. We say it every time.
Yeah, it's what I was gonna say. It's something we literally talk about.
Do y'all know how long it was between the end of the co-main event and the start of the Roman match?
Probably 28 minutes.
31 minutes.
Ooh, I was close.
31 minutes before they touched, not before they rang the bell, before they touched each other.
So I was probably right now.
I bet you a third of that was like Bloodline video packages and entrances, wasn't it?
It was
like, you know what I mean?
All right, let's
but yeah,
appreciate your short on Spurs. One second, Bill.
Let
me floor through the rest of these. Keep them coming up, people. We appreciate it.
Coming.
Of course, we appreciate the short on Spurs.
You got to spread this shit around.
All right, Adrian 999, appreciate you always. Shout out to Money AO Charlie. That's spiteful. It's still crazy how Sammy's been the catalyst for all this bloodline drama. Ibu, how does one pass out twice from a Kimura lock? Or does that not even matter, lol?
Adrian, thank you so much for the super chat and the support. So basically, Cody had a beast meter that he walked into the match with, and the beast meter was running low. And when like your laptop, does an auto shutdown at like maybe 15% to protect itself, Cody ran out of beast, and so he was just like, "All right, I'm not gonna fucking tap. I'm not gonna eat a pin. I'm just gonna sleep a little bit, And so that's what he did.
We'll get into it a bit later. Linnea Harley, $5. One, how much of AEW's metric struggles are due to WWE being hot, sucking the air out of the room? Two, should all the pay-per-views rotate going forward? AEW's metric struggles are due to themselves, not WWE being hot.
They're stepping on legs over there. They need to worry about themselves. It's not so much WWE.
Monty, you don't think WWE's business uptick has affected some ticket buyers?
I'm sure it's affected. I think they've got a big enough
not to this
difference in their audiences.
Because the reason I ask is because WWE had their base and AEW had their base, and they were doing what they were doing, right? But like this year there's like a year-over-year increase in most venues that they run, right? And I almost think that like not everybody's like this like super hardcore AEW fan that jump, but I do think there's like a middle ground of people that believed in like the Triple H regime heading into Mania with the Sammy and Cody stuff. And I do think that some of those in the middle people are like, yeah, I'll buy a ticket to Raw when they come around this time because I do want to see a Cody Rhodes or
Yeah,
Steve.
but they're still going to be in the middle in the sense of AEW as well. You know, it's
Right.
like I don't think people have like picked up WWE and dropped AEW, which would be kind of the question. Anyway,
I do think there's like there's a comfort food element to WWE, right? So when WWE is like good or hot, however you want to phrase that,
Mhm.
there are certain fans I think that would rather watch a WWE they like than the alternative because it's just what they know. And I don't mean that as like a
There are
knock or
people
anything.
like
yeah,
I
definitely.
definitely think that's
Yeah.
a real thing.
It's the biggest company.
Yeah,
innit?
exactly,
It's
yeah.
the company that people grew up with, and it's the billion-dollar company, well, multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they were just so bad in 2021 that like
Should-
they were handing people like literally like hand over fist over to AEW like when AEW.
So second part of the question: should all the pay-per-views rotate going forward?
What does he mean by that?
Yeah, I
what does
don't
he
know
mean?
what you mean by rotate.
Rotate
You mean as in
venues?
like,
You mean
I think
location?
he means with the world title, so like Seth, like
Oh.
Raw and SmackDown ones, you know,
No,
like with
it's gonna
Seth
be
and
Roman
Roman
every
headlining,
event.
you know.
The next pay-per-view that Seth Rollins is going to main event is going to be like whatever the
Whatever
post-
Roman's not on.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, he might still get a couple of you know.
Y'all think,
Good for him.
y'all think Seth's gonna get pay-per-views over undisputed champion Cody Rhodes?
No.
Only if Roman.
It's not
Cody.
happening.
I thought
It's
you were
not
talking about
happening.
Roman. I was going to say only if Roman doesn't want to work. But...
We'll see, man. We'll see what we're cooking. Anyway. Princess Diana, $5. My daughter's taking that New Japan belt from Mayu. Club Venus forever.
What was up with
Slay.
what's up with that? What's up with Mina Shirakawa winning
Bro.
a championship after this big push that she got and losing it in 30 days to Tam Nakano, who's now a double check. I'm not even saying this as criticism. Can somebody explain me what is the
Well, this
logic
isn't really the
behind this?
podcast that has the people on it to explain it to you. is
I
it?
get. Yeah. It's just,
If Parker or Jamie was here right now, you know, like
Yeah.
probably cook something for you, you know.
Someone break down what Rossi's cooking there so I can understand that.
I don't know what
Thank
he's
you.
cooking. He's not cooking shit though. Say goodbye to Booker of the Year. You fedora wearing.
I do love Tam though.
Hey,
So.
Hey, yo,
Tam is awesome, bro, but it's just like you have this whole inspirational story for Mina in kayfabe and out of kayfabe. The way that she's like grown as a wrestler, you just don't. It just doesn't happen. You don't see it happen, especially at her age. She's not like 19. You know what I mean? So it's just like people were so happy for her that she was finally getting pushed, finally having great matches. She was on the run of her life, and then she's like, you know what would be fire if we took the belt off her.
Yeah, Rossi's gonna do what Rossi's gonna do. You know, I'm gonna have a deep conversation with Jamie about it at some point. You know. Marv YouTube $4.99, another member of the Dumb Guy Live crew.
what a freak.
$4.99, appreciate him as always. WWE sucks. Here to talk about how CM Punk beat innocent men and has continually buried young talent. CM Punk is a bad person who will fail. Carry
This is
on.
the greatest super chat of all time.
Thank you for the money, Murph.
I agree with everything you just said.
Mario Judah $4.99. Last Fed match I saw was San Martino versus Karlov. Should I get back? Shout out to Muscleman, Pipe and Joe. One day, hope we get a big flex, dog.
One day. Let's see. I want to get an update on the flex deal. So let's see how this O2 situation goes. Money in the Bank. You know, there's worlds in which you may get a weekly flex if things go crazy. You know, like if I get a match graphic on Friday, the one I'm looking for, you don't want to see me on these shows. You're gonna get a flex for sure. If not, give it a couple of years, I fear. So we'll see. We'll see, folks. Stay
More
tuned.
zeros. Yeah.
Thank you, Mario.
Stay tuned.
Henry Charles Albert David $1.99 at Diana. You talking about Megan, right? Don't think she's in Club Venus, funnily enough. You know, Bob the Builder $2 Canadian, $2.20 Canadian. Appreciate you. Do you think Goldberg shows up this summer?
Yes.
I hope not.
Maybe if he's don't fucking hurt himself around the house like he has done recently. Did anyone see that picture of him?
No.
Yes.
I saw a picture of him leaking, but I didn't see what did he do to himself.
He was like fucking. I don't actually Goldberg. He was like doing some work in his fucking lawn or some shit, or I don't know, man. And he hurt himself at home, and I basically got as much as AO got. I found out that he hurt himself at home doing some work, and saw a picture of him all busted open on the fucking timeline.
This is the man y'all want to give a stadium tour to.
Can you imagine an entire stadium comeback tour hinging on how hard he hits his head on the door when he goes out to go for his entrance? Like, it's night one of the tour. He goes a little hard. He's busted open. That's the end of the tour. You know, it'd be a catastrophe.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Has there not been an incident? Nah. Has there not been an incident? All right. Yeah, exactly. Was there not an incident where Goldberg concussed himself on his entrance? Like,
I
think
it was
the Taker match.
Taker, it was a Taker match.
Christ.
And he almost killed Taker.
Taker's like 51, and he's got to deal with this with Goldberg.
And the thing is,
bro, you see when he makes his entrance and they go backstage and they've got the security out the door. Yeah. You see it, bro. No, it's not even that. Look, you see the door, bro. Like, you see the door go. Like,
you always hear it,
and then he walks through. And
when they knock, like for his entrance, he always fucking headbutts the door. That's like his fire up.
Like, why?
Yeah, you saw that. Like, this time, you saw the door literally like fuck. He was like, fuck me. That was a good one. Yeah.
After he did that, WWE banned him from doing it. TK's not banning him.
Nah.
TK's gonna be like, hey, could you possibly just not do that, Bill? Thanks. And then Bill just the fuck up, Mark. He's gonna bang his head on the door. He's gonna concuss himself. And he's gonna hurt someone.
That was a crazy TK impression.
Voice was.
It was wild because it was almost there, you know. Yeah, man, that's gonna be something. I'll tell you what, Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley. Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam, the bad one, not the good one in Saudi. Mm-hmm. The bad one that had like Gage Goldberg getting beat up. That match is so fucking hilarious because it's just a bunch of like really nasty suplexes to each other, like almost hurting each other and stuff. So,
real.
Nicholas Aldis 199. Swole Joe, give us a flex and a pose.
I will say, while I've already made my stance clear on this matter, Nick Aldis being in the chat is pretty cool. That's pretty neat.
Especially with black emojis.
What's the law on this Joe posing thing?
I wore a shirt that was too tight. One person asked me to flex. I refused so adamantly that now it is requested on every show I'm on.
Now everybody's like, yo, this is flexing, Joe.
And now I have something. Now I have something as a running bit to get super chat funds. I'm figuring out the best way to run this angle. You know, it's in
Joe. You know what this is for you right now? It's like when Ray wouldn't hit Dom, and every week, they want to see Ray hit Dom. You know, people want to see Joe flex. You know,
just look. Let's get me that tag match for London. You may see a flex. I said you may see one every week. I may start the show that way. I don't know.
It's the new gimmick.
Yeah, we got
Bob the Builder with two big ones, 220, and said, Ibu, do you think TK has something up its sleeve? It depends on what you mean, but
it was 7 minutes ago, so I have no idea what he was actually. Because we was talking about WWE. So
there's a lot of fun things coming up for AEW this summer. The top 2 matches of Forbidden Door are going to be very exciting to the fans of AEW. You guys are going to love the top 2 matches of Forbidden Door. A big stacked card. Tons of things up their sleeve for Collision. Between Punk and Tony. So it should be a really fun summer. It should be a really fun summer. We gotta pick the ticket sales up for Collision and some of these other houses, but I do think that once you start shooting some really big angles, these things will get going. Shut up!
Phil can't draw.
Suck my dick. Callum 17. I'm sorry, that was aggressive, but
take a
shut
break,
up,
little nigga. Take a break. Callum, $5 pounds. I'm sorry. Ibu, come on, man. That Kimura lock was stupid. Also, Gunter should beat Roman.
He's already in the private chat. No.
Just stay right there. Take a break. When
put you on the notice that you got to sit on there for like 100 seconds. All right.
Yeah. The Kimura lock spot was very stupid. Like, come on.
Passed out from the pain, brother.
Passed out from the pain. Like, pass out spots with blood included or not, I'm good with them. in all of wrestling, everywhere. Just stop. You can tap out. It's okay.
Berkey 199. He really bullied a child yesterday.
Yeah,
SMFA. So for those of you that don't know the
I
law
was
from
gonna
the
say, what did I
timeline,
miss? Because I
Alright,
passed
so
out at like
I'm
half
on
seven.
Purist. I'm on Purist yesterday. Marcus is his little brother, Rayo.
Yeah, it's his little brother.
His little brother was like, he came on screen and they were asking him like, oh, who's your favourite wrestlers? And he was there and he was like, it was very wholesome, you know. He was there. He's like, oh, I like, what's that one guy? And he would be like, oh, Swerve and Jay Cargill and Luchasaurus was one of them that he called the Dragon Man. And it was, you know, he had like a little list of like AEW wrestlers and everyone was like, you know, popping for him, and AO was like, yeah, it's a nice list, man. Then he was in the live chat like, that list stinks. People were like, whoa.
Fucking stunk. Listen, if
This is a
Luchasaurus,
child.
if Luchasaurus is in
It's
your
a
top
child.
Bro, you're bullying a kid.
Listen,
You're bullying a kid
You're
for liking
bullying
a
a kid
wrestling
for a
dinosaur.
wrestler. That, like, yeah,
We-
this is what I'm saying. Like, a wrestler that's pitched to children.
listen. We need to be honest with the children of America. We are.
If they can't believe in shit like this, what can they have?
Bro, you're so
God.
upset. You're so
Go
upset
fuck
that
yourself.
that child doesn't care that CM Punk's out there just recreating Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog SummerSlam '84 or whatever it is that you jerk off to, bro. You're so mad about it, bro.
Listen,
he
yeah,
wants to see a 6'6" dinosaur do flips.
No,
all right.
No.
One of your favorite wrestlers is a second-rate John Cena, so I really don't think you have space to talk.
Please talk. Please
Charlie,
talk, Charlie.
Very spiteful.
Just
Very,
wait till
very
tomorrow.
spiteful.
Hey, just wait till tomorrow. You know, when I start getting on Anarchy here, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Already
when it's
told
like
you,
a
your
fucking-
words don't
Master
hurt.
When it's the greatest match
When
of
it's
all
like a
time, the
religious
words will not mean
experience.
When it's
anything.
like, literally like a 5+.
When it's the
It's
greatest
gonna
match
be
of all
fucking
time, yours won't
incredible.
mean anything.
You know, listen, I'll be like AO when like he was trying to do the this is bad stuff during like the end of Mania night 1 and shit. Like I'm gonna be watching Anarchy Arena like y'all like that fucking one-winged angel through a flaming table. Y'all thought it was cool. You know,
Off the top of a ladder.
And you're gonna get buried on the timeline, and it's gonna be glorious.
Yeah, we'll have to. All right, let's move back on to Night of Champions. Ibu,
Yeah.
you want to introduce this Gunter?
yeah.
Defending
So-
the Intercontinental title versus
Joe-
Mustafa Ali.
Joe came at a perfect time because he came in time for us to talk about the ring general Gunter, who came out, big entrance as usual, you know, being introduced by Ludwig Kaiser, who's getting really good at this, the verbal
Ludwig.
blazing. Yeah, he's the Intercontinental Champion, the ring general, you know, he does the whole thing. Yeah, Gunter came out, and he was challenged by Mustafa Ali. And Ali came out in front of his people. He had the turban, hot crowd for him. And I didn't know what to expect with this. I actually genuinely thought it was realistic that we would get a squash. And I got to be honest with you guys, and a lot of people on Twitter were excited for this. Going in, I genuinely in my head was like, this is going to be a gentleman's 3, and then we're going to get out of here. And to my chagrin, I guess, Gunter and him did the dance. Gunter beat the shit out of him, and he's such a joy to watch as he's chopping the fuck out of Ali and kicking his ass and having these great cutoffs with the big boots and the chops. And Ali had a brief but exciting comeback where he did a couple super kicks. He got a sit-out powerbomb. He does a 630. Gunter hit him with 2 wicked lariats, a shotgun drop kick, and ultimately beat him with, if I'm not mistaken, a powerbomb. This was barely over 8 minutes, and I thought this up to this point was easily the match of the night and one of the big highlights of this show. To me, honestly, even at 8 minutes or so, I thought this was great. And I think Gunter is just one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. In progress, watching him live is just a different experience from a lot of these other guys. And I thought this was terrific. What did you think, Joe Holbert?
I liked it. I did not like it to the extreme you did, but I
Okay.
respect it. I see this. I see what you appreciate about it, but it just didn't resonate with me to that degree.
Mhm.
I don't want to be spiteful here. I like Mustafa Ali's performance. He can take some great bumps. I like the way he sells.
Yeah.
him getting given a handful of spots and choosing the forward roll thing is. My hands went up. I said, "It's just a time and a place, you know. There's just a time." But nonetheless,
you're in a fight with Gunter, you know.
Yeah, it didn't work. But I liked the match, and it was pretty much perfect for where it needed to be. I'm sure there's like a longer, expansive version of this will be more epic. There is no way Gunter should be working that match with Mustafa Ali at this point in the game. Like he gave him what he needed to. He had a nice comeback, as you said. And in the end, Gunter did win emphatically and decisively. 8 minutes. I thought it was perfect for what it was. I was obviously not here, but I liked the opener more than you did. I know. So, but nonetheless, yeah, it was. I mean, Gunter's the man, bro. He's one of the most special wrestlers I've ever seen. He's incredible. So
fucking beast. Charlie, what did you think of Ali versus Gunter?
I enjoyed it for what it was. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be anything like spectacular, but like
me either.
I think for what I was anticipating, they did a better job. I just hope that Ali gets more from it, like post show, and that he gets like to do more stuff on the shows and that. Gunter's just the best. He's just the man. I didn't see what happened, but I can imagine.
When you said I want Ali to do more after this, he kind of was just like,
Spiteful.
Listen, man,
anything.
I don't watch the week-to-week shows. I just think he's pretty cool when he's put in positions like this. So.
Charlie said, I just think he's neat. You know? And,
I just think he's neat. Some guys just fall into that category. We need wrestlers like that. That's basically the mid card these days. So
would we all agree that Gunter good?
yes.
Oh,
you know,
he is the man.
Monty, I'll let you take this last. Ayo, what did you think of Gunter and Mustafa Ali?
This is the best shit of the night, bro.
Of the entire show?
Yeah, easily.
Wow.
I'm not an Ali merchant. A lot of people were saying his legacy was on the line tonight with this match. Many people were saying
not that again.
I might have partaken in some of these conversations.
No, you wouldn't do that.
I might have been there.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what. If this match stunk,
it would have got ugly on the time.
Yeah,
I would have been right there with them. Like, this is the man y'all saying free? Huh? But I enjoyed this a lot, honestly. I don't think more is gonna come out of it for Ali. That's just what WWE does, bro. They're like, Booker Mansour's a little too on the nose for these shows now. Let's spread the love a little bit. So yeah, man. That's all I gotta say.
I think he's just like one of, if not the best thing about WWE right now. He's the one constant on these pay-per-views that if you watch the product through the pay-per-views only, you can always rely on him to be great. Yeah. And I almost feel bad for Seth because I look at Gunter and I'm like, hey man, I think it'd be great if he had the world title.
That's why I hated the belt being a thing to begin with. Like that you have an open goal with Gunter as your mid-card champ, right? He's already been doing this with this belt. Like to me, it was just very logical to make that belt just be the belt on one of the shows, but we all were out with that at this point. So,
Monty, talk to the people about the ring general, sir.
There's not much to say that hasn't already been said. He's one of the great in-ring wrestlers of all time, legitimately, especially as a heel. The way that he can set up pretty much any babyface to kind of plug in their spots of their hope spots and stuff is like unlike pretty much anything you see from anyone else in the world right now. I think he's in a league of his own when it comes to stuff like that. He can make the people like believe in anyone and then swat it all away and devastatingly just destroy them, you know.
One job.
Yeah, literally, like he's incredible, man. And this is just another example of it. Just 8 minutes, and it was what it needed to be. And Gunter, man, like I said, bro, he's genuinely one of the best wrestlers ever. There's really not too much to say about the match itself. There was some good hope spots and, some really great cut-offs and stuff like that. And it was just what it needed to be, man. I love Gunter. I'm always happy to watch him wrestle. I would watch him wrestle anyone. I'd watch him wrestle Hall, but,
I'm not wrestling him, mate.
He's so good that... right?
Not taking them shots, mate. Yeah.
He's so good that in the moment, you're like hoping as the match is closing, you're hoping that it goes a little longer, like just to watch him some more. You know, you're like, no, don't end. You know, but Yeah, man, best Intercontinental Champion of all time.
I even got that with like his NXT like main
Hold
events,
on
like the
now.
ones that would go like 40 minutes. Like you'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, give me another
Hold
10,
on.
you know?
Yeah.
You putting him over? You putting him over Honky Tonk?
Yeah, man, I gotta make the controversial
Put
choice, and you know, I gotta say that you know, Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew, I do put it up there with you know, with Honky Tonk Man versus Bad News Brown and
The
Honky
territory's
Tonk Man
perverts aren't gonna like that take.
You know,
Yeah.
I gotta say it is better than Honky Tonk Man versus you know
Dax is
versus
calling
Doink.
you as we speak.
Who?
You sit on that pod, nigga, boy.
He said who? Cornette?
I'd have you lynched.
Jesus Christ! You know what's funny? I
I
did
will
get
be right back. Enjoy my dog for a minute.
Chuck's like, I gotta get out of here. Hey, yo, he's talking about me. I gotta get out of here.
Oh my god! I did once tweet about Gunther being the best IC champ ever, and a wrestler did DM me with Honky Tonk Man. I'm just like, all right, man. Yeah, all right. The next match seems to be a very polarizing one. And I guess, oh look at the dog. I guess I'm the high person. I Bianca Belair came out with Asuka,
Oh man.
and definitely weird in some respects, in the sense that there was a bit of an exhibition vibe to a lot of this, because you know, it didn't have the life that the Mania match did, if that made any sense, because they were just kind of going through what they're doing. My thing about this stretch was that I'm just such a fan of their work and their execution that, like, as it was happening, I thought this was my second favorite match, that, like, in terms of enjoyment. Honestly, what happened though was, as we got late into the match, it just kind of like got a little sloppy, and like Bianca's hair is falling apart and shit, and like, you know, like it's just getting a little messy. And then like we get like a really clunky version of a 1989 Muda spot, and then Bianca lost, and I was like, wow. And I actually popped the title change because I had no faith that Bianca was jobbing here. I genuinely thought she's gonna hold that shit forever. Like it felt like some 07 Cena stuff. But I even with the flaws, I thought that the flaws held it back from being like particularly great. But I did think it was like fairly good. But I'm aware that my colleagues here thought it was a bad match. Joe, what do you think of Bianca versus Asuka?
So before I go any further, I think it goes without saying that, like, obviously I think very highly of both women, and Asuka in particular, I think is, you know, we talk about Gunter a minute ago. That's an all-time great wrestler.
He's doing the
I
disclaimer.
found this to be, I thought this was baffling.
Yeah.
I honestly, I thought this was like, the word and this is why it kind of stunned me so much, is like, it was lifeless to me. And I don't think I've ever described an Asuka match as lifeless before. There was no sense of physicality or competition. It was like they were just like doing a training match. You know, it was bizarre to me. It was like they were exchanging techniques for the sake of doing it. It was like they were just doing stuff. There was no sense of like escalation. And what makes it even weirder to me is the Mist set the stage for something that was really heated and crazy. The even more kind of bizarre, because in fairness to you, Boo, this is, I just saw online, it's got some very positive reviews, so you're not like completely alone. I like the Mania match, you know, so maybe I need to rewatch it. But like, I was talking to Monty Froud, I was like, I don't think this is good, man. It really didn't do anything for me, and that surprises me, because I think the world of both. So it just had no zip for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, so you liked Rollins and Styles?
Yeah, I did, because now let me be clear, that wasn't a great match necessarily, and I thought it kind of lost its way with the finish. But I did think there was more semblance of escalation, and the guys kind of bringing their big bombs. It went, and you know, it wasn't the most snappy work, but I thought it had some big match kind of bite to it. This to me had none of that, and to the point where, while I wanted to pop for the title change, I was left going, I can't believe this is where this reign's ended. You know, with this match, it kind of baffled me. I don't know. I would love to have liked it, but I did not. I'm sorry to say.
It would have been crazy if like Bianca's reign ended on the EO match in Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? Like that would have been like fucking insane. you know. So I totally do see that. I will say though, again, because like it just felt like Bianca's reign was never ending. The prospect of Io Asuka at SummerSlam immediately hit me and made me excited, and I was just like, all right, man, fuck it. But no, I understand your criticisms, Charlie. What did you think of Bianca versus Asuka?
Well, I went into this excited because I was just like, well, this is definitely going to be better than Trish versus Becky. And then they sleepwalked through the whole match, and I was like,
it was, even with them sleepwalking though. Come on.
I mean, yeah, but not
I genuinely don't think it was.
It was not good.
Oh man!
Like I popped for Asuka winning because I love Asuka, and I'm excited to see what she does with this title reign. But come on, that was like, if they were going to run this here, they shouldn't have run it at WrestleMania because we saw what they could do.
Yeah, that was better. That was better. Yeah.
And then like watching this, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, did they just not care about this match?
Asuka,
because it really didn't feel like it.
She looked so disengaged for her. She's so consistent in that regard. It was like striking to me. It was weird.
Asuka's
she was checked out like she was taking another loss, and then she won. I was like, what the fuck?
It was weird.
You make a good point, Joe, because like I always said this, like the top end of the WWE women's division, they sometimes look pedestrian on TV, and then like on pay-per-view they'll turn it up. Asuka's like the person who's like on 10, even on a fucking Raw match, like she's going hard and shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I guess I gotta go back now and then see.
Look, I might, to be fair. I mean, again, I just did the old cage match check, and this may make you feel worse, but they like the match a lot. So,
am I just crazy?
It had like a 7, so like you might be. Maybe we're off. I don't know.
That's right, man. I'm at like a 7. You know? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Monty, what did you make of this?
Oh, this was. I hated this. I hated it. Like Bianca, I hated it mainly because I love Bianca Belair. I love her as a TV presence. I love her as a wrestler. Everything. Same with Asuka. I think they're both great wrestlers. So for them to go out there and deliver this, I was like, like it fucked me up for like after the match. After, you know, like when something puts you on a downer for the rest of the show, bro. To Joe's point, it was just absolutely lifeless. The crowd didn't give a fuck either. Besides the ones that were like booing Bianca, which is always like weird to watch for me, you know. Weird seeing her like get those reactions and stuff. I guess obviously it does make sense with kind of like the Super Cena comparisons, but even still, man, it was lifeless. Asuka was out there, and it was like she didn't even want to be out there at points. I know like you probably shouldn't like fucking try and get in the heads of wrestlers and say what their motivations and stuff are, but he just had that feeling. And to Joe's point again, it's like you never really see that from Asuka, but this match had no urgency or anything from her. She had no like, there was no like intensity or anything like that to it, and it was just cold out there, bro. And they were just kind of plodding along and going through it. And again, Asuka just felt really lifeless out there, and Bianca was just kind of doing her. You know, like one of the criticisms that people say about Bianca is that she's very like she has her routine.
Yeah,
you know, she has the spots that she does, and you know, she's very impressive athletically, etc., etc. But it is almost like a routine at points, and when you mix that in with like this lifeless performance from Asuka, it's just like even the Mania match. I don't think their chemistry was like an immediate like connection, like say like a Charlotte and Rhea, or with Asuka, like Asuka and Charlotte, they have great chemistry as well. But I think these two, like, even though everyone likes their matches individually and stuff, you'd expect them to have a good match together. But I just don't think they've gelled well.
Io works better with Bianca.
Yeah, she does, definitely. I'd say from the evidence that we've seen, especially obviously in WWE, because that's the only time we've seen them. But yeah, man, this was just lifeless. Asuka's performance was baffling. Especially when she won the title as well, you know, like with her performance, especially earlier on, and just kind of looking at like the movie. I don't know if she might have fucking worked me. Who knows, bro? But I don't know what she was cooking tonight.
It's worth noting, Monty. Like the reason I think we're all so rattled by it is because, again, let me reiterate, it's the complete opposite of what you expect and usually get from Asuka. It's very, you know, we have to reiterate and stress that it's like she has high standards. She sets high standards.
Yeah.
So lethargic and just like again, lack of urgency. And to Joe's point, really just It's like they were just kind of going through the motions, having a
Yeah.
mess around in the PC or something, bro. Just rolling around, and just practice it. Oh, it was lifeless.
Where do you?
In one word, lifeless. Like,
What
it was just-
Oscar's on SmackDown, right?
Mm,
Does anybody know what brand Oscar's?
no,
I don't
she'd
know.
wouldn't she? I don't. Yeah, SmackDown because Bianca's on SmackDown. So
Right. So
it's a Raw Women's Championship, so it's just like
yeah, they didn't
because
do
of
the
the swap.
fucking
It's
switch.
been it's like it's a bit
So
weird.
so
ain't it?
I don't know if you saw. Charlotte's already like shooting an angle with Oscar on social media.
You gotta respect it on some level, bro.
What a worker. What a
I love
worker.
it.
Oh my
I
god!
can't believe that's how they ended that reign as well, bro.
Bro,
Like,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
for those that don't know, because I don't talk about WWE a lot, right? I love Bianca Belair. Never had an agenda against her before in my life. Openly root for her. Openly root for her to have a 3,000-day reign or whatever. I love Oscar as well, right? Liked their Mania match, but I left their Mania match thinking this was good. But when they have a rematch, they're going to tear the house down. Like, it's going to be amazing. Women's Match of the Year contender, if not the Women's Match of the Year. That shit today sucked, bro. Like, it was like Monty said, no urgency, no intensity. Like, it was sloppy, bro. Like, I don't know what they were cooking. They ended this historic reign at a C pay-per-view. Not at the Rumble, not at Mania, not at SummerSlam. Like, a C pay-per-view, bro, in Saudi. Like, these used to be filler. They used to be non-canon. Like, I don't, like, that shit, like, people hate, the mechanics of the ending. I think it was whatever for what it was. They had a great match, and that's how it ended. I wouldn't complain. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, everything else was bad, bro. That shit was shockingly bad. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
yeah, I think again, like we've done the disclaimer and we've reiterated, but like it's so fucking deflating because we think so highly of Bianca and Asuka, and again, just see him go out there and have this soulless match was just like, alright, man. And then that soulless match to be what ends Bianca's fucking year plus reign, it was just like, alright, man. Like I said, it almost fucked me up for the rest of the show, which was the next match was Rhea versus Natalia, which
Yeah.
which was it was a squash, man.
This is what it
we
needed.
we spoke about it earlier, Joe. So we've already done like the review of the match, but it was a squash, and I think to kind of Ibu's point, like something quick was probably something the crowd needed at that point after that ice cold fucking match that just happened. Even though the crowd did pop for Asuka winning, but like that, I don't know how long the match was, but there was just an extended period of that Saudi crowd just being ice cold, man. It was brutal. So them going with the short match directly after didn't surprise us so much. But however, the way this kind of reflects on the women's division, it's not very great, is it, man? Because you've got Bianca's title reign ending in a storyline that kind of is whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like some people might think who aren't watching WWE that closely that that Asuka and Bianca have carried on this feud from Mania. That has not been the case. That has not been the case. They went their separate ways, and then a few weeks ago they crossed paths again, and Asuka started doing like the heel misty shit, and here we are, you know what I mean, a few weeks later, and Bianca's dropped the title to her, so that's not a great look. Then obviously the squash match is a squash match, you know what I mean, even if you do think Rhea, like Ibu, thinks that Rhea should be doing that to people like Natalia. But it's like, you look at the two women's title matches from today, and it's like, yikes,
Well, we've seen this happening though, right? I mean, this is no accident. Like, there's been a lot of good stuff that's happened in the Triple H regime, to put it that way. But the women's division thing's been that's a real issue. It's been very disappointing, and it's the opposite of what a lot of us expected, ironically, and that's kind of makes it strange. But like Rhea, here's the deal with this one: it's like Rhea and Natalia in a vacuum. This was objectively very funny. I have to make that clear. It was very funny. I did laugh. I'm sorry, folks. Here's what it is. Okay. Do I really want to see them have a match? Not really. No. However, it's like, Rhea's reign, you kind of look at this like they're going to need to really come up with some stuff for her to do, because otherwise it feels like she's a character in the main event angles that just stops off in the women's division to kick the shit out of someone every month. And,
yeah.
it's like,
She's one of the big stars of Raw,
Yeah.
in the sense that, like, when they do an opening Judgment Day segment with like Steen Erico or something, right? She's gonna do the face off with a man. She's a big part of the segments and stuff like that. Like, she's a star character, but like you said, her interaction with the women's division is like peeking in to beat the shit out of someone, and it's why actually there's a small contingent on Twitter that feel that she's not doing enough for the division specifically, because a lot of her star power is used to just kind of like get herself more over by just like facing off with Kevin Owens and looking at Solo Sikoa and rip-tiding Luke Gallows and beating up Tozawa. Like that, these are real things
I guess
she's done on TV. You know,
the question is though, who is the, she's going to work with Becky at some point, right?
Yes.
That goes without saying. That's going to be a match in the summer at some point.
Yes.
Who are the other names in this division, especially with Liv injured? That was someone they could go to for a pay-per-view match.
Well, Bianca's dropped the belt now, but she's on a different show. So
right,
it's a weird
situation.
We just talked about this and how like there's no hierarchy in the division. It's either just the top women and then there's jobbers. And so because there's no one in the middle, it's tough to find people that you can viably have an 8-minute match in Rhea. Right. And the one name I came up with was Piper Niven, but like a lot of these other people, I don't want to see the match, and nor should the match go particularly long. So their assignment, if they had one and they actually committed to it, would be to like create a middle section of the card. So
didn't people like Triple H's Black and Gold Women's Division?
Yeah,
this is also fucking baffling.
That was the thing that was kind of like agreed on across the board. And so when he got the reins of main roster creative, a lot of our immediate guesses were good for the women's division. We'll see what he does on the male side, because it's like it's been the opposite. Like, I think the division, to me anyway, is weaker now, which I think is kind of impressive. To be honest with you, I don't think anyone saw that coming. So, I mean, look again. I'm not trying to be Natalia. That's where we're at right now. I mean, it was outrageous. Natalia and Rhea Ripley is outrageous in this day and age. I mean, it's 2023.
I wasn't as offended by Rhea squashing Natalia. It's what I wanted to see. But my thing as a TV watcher, my whole stance about Hunter's women's division, it hasn't been something that's been a pay-per-view problem, because the high end of the division delivers on pay-per-view usually. It's that the week-to-week TV of them is just like not interesting. Like, there's no interesting storylines or interesting angles or things like that. It's like what you're seeing with like the early part of the Outcast, but with like 10 more minutes a week on Raw, essentially, with like across like 2 to 3 different storylines. And so it's genuinely just become a thing that I fast forward every week, because it's just not the level of effort that they put into the Bloodline and Cody, and obviously they're the top stars. They don't put even a fraction of that into anything happening with the women, and so it's just not good TV. And so my issue with them is literally that over the wrestling. Chi-Town Spurs, $5. Ibu would be the guy on Titanic moaning about why the women and children get to go first. Probably.
And Ibu wouldn't even want to get himself first on the safety badge. He tried to get CM Punk up there. It's like, please, just say Phil.
True.
I'm begging you.
Phil, then me, and then like a couple steps down, the children and the women. J Caleb Show, $5 super chat. This is for the cute dog. Treat on me. Yeah, yo, Charlie, your dog's good. Yeah, he was,
little baby.
He was chilling. Thank you for the super chat, J Caleb.
I just realized I don't know anybody with a Dalmatian except for Chuck. So is that just
I
like
have
a
2
UK
Dalmatians.
thing? Like, do they just not have them in America?
They're not that common over here either. Really, we're probably the only people in our town that have them. So
it's interesting. Natty deserves better.
No, it actually is as well. Look,
That's crazy.
Isn't it? Not his
this is what I'm kind of. While I laugh, there is a big part of it. It's like, if you're gonna book the match, at least have it for a lariat or something,
Bro, me and Ayo, we said it, bro. Sharpshooter spot could have went off.
Monty wanted a natty epic, man.
Monty wanted a time limit draw. You want him to go brawl play.
Darren Walker is back. It's been a minute,
We missed you. We asked about you.
Where you been at, Darren, man? £5. I appreciate you as always. The women's matches tonight were bad. Well, Tiffany Stratton will show them up tomorrow night.
Nobody's watching that bullshit.
Ibu is the AEW pay-per-view preview tomorrow.
Yes, there is, Darren Walker. We will be here on this channel, around the same time, roughly, to preview Double or Nothing.
There you have it, people. We
Yes,
will
sir.
be back tomorrow.
We missed you, Darren.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat.
Tiffany Stratton is one of the greats, so she's just going to do Tiffany Stratton things, ain't she? You know?
She's gonna do a really nice moonsault to cap off a 2 3/4-star affair where she wins the title that she should be holding at the moment.
she
And
wrestling?
Molly is
Bro,
next to me, Tiff
Laura,
Strat.
Laura Valkyria is alright, man. She's,
I've never heard of her before.
I gotta be honest with you, Monty.
she's alright.
I have never seen her wrestle in my entire life.
Oh, there you go. I'll be saying you'll be watching Double or Nothing. It'll
Yes,
be
I
in the
will.
you'll be halfway through Anarchy in the arena, fucking going crazy about seeing one of the best matches you've ever seen in your entire life, and I'll be sending you clips of Tiffany
Oh,
Stratton
my
working the
God.
Heat segment.
I was gonna say, like, Monty, is there gonna be a temptation at any point when Tip is on to just split screen this shit like a fucking freak? Are you gonna like peek, have one eye on that?
Bro,
Shit?
I'll be honest. You know, look, where's this Double or Nothing card?
Oh man, yeah, he's
Oh.
gonna
Tell me
do
how-
it.
That's right.
He's
Tell
gonna
me
do
all.
it.
Tell me all the matches that you would throw the Tiff Strat on for. Tiff Strat match on for.
This is a dangerous road to walk,
Every
brother.
single match.
Double
It's
or
gonna have the
Nothing.
card.
He's gonna say the Village 4-way, bro.
Hold on,
He's
I need to get the
absolutely
card,
saying
man.
Village 4-way.
Just let me cook. Let me cook.
TK just tweeted it, Mott. So if you go to TK's Twitter,
Yeah.
he just
I
tweeted
got
it.
it. I'll tell you how many matches. Yeah,
Isn't
I
Hardy
would
shit
have-
on the main card?
No.
I'll tell you
no.
how many matches I would leave on. I'll tell you the amount of matches I'd leave on if Tiffany Stratton was about to walk out.
I'm curious.
Anarchy in the arena.
Of course.
Oh no.
The gears
Oh.
are turning.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't Jamie Hayter injured? Is Jamie Hayter versus
Yeah.
Tony
Yeah,
actually
she's injured.
happening? All right, that.
Um,
Like,
I
is it
have
happening?
a
What's going on?
It's happening in some kind of form.
Yeah.
I have a
Oh.
feeling that that Jamie's getting jumped before that match and she's dropping that belt. But
Charlie, the match will happen.
mm.
Yeah, like I'm
oh no, I think it will happen. I think
Yes.
you'll get jumped and then the bell will ring.
yeah.
What kind of
Yeah.
Christian Luchasaurus
A
fight?
bell will
Christian
ring and then ring again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There will be a pin and a new
Yes.
champion. I think,
Yeah.
to be honest,
That sucks.
we'll talk about it more on the pre-show tomorrow.
Well,
Yep.
the point is, there's not a lot on this.
Monty's
There's
gonna
not a
name a
lot.
second match.
You didn't. No, you didn't.
Y'all let him slide. He looked at the rest of that shit and said, "Fuck this shit, nigga." He said, "I ain't turning nothing shit off."
Listen, man, I gotta stick to I gotta stick to what the people expect me to be loyal to, you know. And at the end of the day, tomorrow's a big day for the Tiffany Stratton clan.
Joe, how many fuck Shawn Michaels texts are you gonna get from Monty if Lyra Valkyra wins this?
I don't know. I'm still reeling from the choice of words there from Monty. I mean, I know I'm going to get some text. I assume that it'll be in the midst of a heat segment. I'll get a Tiff Strat with no context, and I'll be left to work that out for myself. You know, so.
I've gotten that before. I've gotten
Yeah.
Tiff Strat, man.
I gotta play into it, bro. You know?
Yo, that moonsault is great though. The PME.
Yes,
She's
Oh
like,
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
It- it's called
she's a
the-
very good athlete.
It's called the PME. That's such a cool name. The prettiest
stand
moonsault
for?
ever. Prettiest
Prettiest
moonsault
moonsault
ever.
ever.
Yeah.
That's cute.
She's a beast, mate. Belt's gonna look good on her. We're cooking.
Why didn't they put it on her? When they put it on Indy, son, why did they just put it on?
Bro, honestly,
They wanted
I don't
to get the way standing on the stage posing and shit. Yeah. So
it's 8.
yeah,
Who's that for? You know?
yeah, you know, give the way their Mania weekend moment. You know,
They're like
Oh,
what, 6
whatever,
months
man.
late on that shit or whatever.
right?
They've been
I know
Sounds
our
like
star
big-
win $10 super chat. 4 A+ players and 1 B+ players on the panel. Be nice to Kid Zebu. Big up to the sleeping dog.
My baby.
Hey, Ibu.
It's a hell of a lineup we got out there right now. I gotta say, folks.
Yeah, man, this is a dream team. What's up, Monty?
I'm saying, man, you was a piece of shit to that young
Yeah,
soldier
man.
yesterday, bro.
I was that was a necessary life lesson.
I
Well,
don't think it was.
Dude,
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm not sure about that, to be honest with you, mate.
sometimes you guys gotta understand this. When they hit about like 10, you got to be a dick to them a little bit. You know what I mean? They're watching TikTok. You know, they're watching YouTube. You got to balance it. You know.
That mother said, you like the flipping dinosaur? Huh. You gotta throw on 92 war games.
Yes.
Put some hair on your chest, kid.
Yes.
Well, hold on. Let's hear him out.
Yeah.
Let's hear him out on this one. Let's not get carried away.
Take a fucking sip of beer. You know.
No.
Oh no, I'm gonna go. Actually,
We
no,
don't endorse this. Don't listen.
Child drinking.
I was so close to coming on board there with the agenda, and that's okay.
That would have been like 92 war games, you know. You know, Nikita Koloff. Yeah, man. Shout out to Dragon Lee, who's winning the Heritage Cup tomorrow, and shout out to Tiffany Stratton. Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes had a match, and
They did.
I personally, and I don't give a shit what anybody tells me, I thought this shit was a titanic heavyweight clash of epic men. I thought this was fucking beast. Genuinely, Cody Hogan doing the dance with Brock Lesnar, kicking out of his finishers, hanging in there, inconsistently selling this titanium fucking arm that he's allowed to use on
He
Brock
didn't sell it
Lesnar.
at all.
He sold it a little bit.
He used it as a bat on Brock. He used it as a weapon. Bro, this story sucks, bro. It's terrible. This whole thing was supposed to be like, oh, look at Cody. He's so amazing for going to this match with a broken arm. It was an equalizer. He was using it as a crowbar the entire match. I thought this whole thing was to build sympathy towards Cody, not give him an excuse for a weapon to beat Brock Lesnar's ass with. What? No. Now we're supposed to feel bad for Cody because sometimes he gets caught in a Kimura on the broken arm. It's like, no, bro, you've been clobbering Brock over the head with this the entire match.
Yo, this
doing
nigga
Cody cutters. What is
Michael
this stopping you from doing?
Yo, Michael called a new term for the fucking brace every time. He's like, oh, the titanium brace, the adamantium brace,
The Exocast.
the exocast. What's that? The vibranium.
Vibranium. Straight from Wakanda.
The armament hockey cast. Like, what's going on?
Bro. That was bad, bro. So you wasted everybody's time with this sympathy storyline.
No,
because he won in that match and he beat Brock's ass with that brace.
Listen. In the stupid world of wrestling and the stupid ass rules of wrestling, braces that are on your person can be used, and Cody used it to his advantage.
But in those matches, they always sell about how this is also a hindrance to them. That never happened with Cody, bro, except when he was in the submission spots.
When Cody got belly to bellied on the second one, Cody landed on the arm, and he was like, "Ow."
Oh, brother.
You know, but genuinely, look, so here's my honest opinion on this, right?
Oh, brother.
even with just like the cartoon-like endurance of Cody Rhodes, even with just the preposterous arm stuff, I genuinely thought this was an epic wrestling match. Like, I think tonally, this kind of like Crockett horseshit fits with Cody Rhodes so much because this stuff is unserious and so is he. And so I'm fine with Titanic superhuman babyface Cody Rhodes going the distance with Brock, taking him 15 minutes or whatever it is, kicking out of 2 F5s. It genuinely reached the level of epic that superseded the Backlash match. And I would have preferred this feud be a 2 and done, but we gotta take this Money in the Bank, baby. Cody's not winning that briefcase. Fuck you. So this is a good middle chapter, and for me, because of the atmosphere, because of just how I felt in the moment, how it made me feel as I was watching it, I thought this was easily like a top. I would only pick 4 WWE matches over this year. That's nasty. This is nasty. Genuinely. That's just how it made me feel. I'm gonna tell you right now, just to get you off this high right now. Okay. Cody versus Brock Lesnar 3 is happening at Money in the Bank. You know how Cody's gonna get that title off of Roman? I can't. You know how Cody's gonna get that title off of Roman? He's gonna be a back-to-back Royal Rumble winner. Enjoy watching Cody versus Roman 2 at Mania next year. It's not happening. This is not. Try baby ass nigga. Fuck you. I thought this was beast. Now you guys are gonna call it the worst thing in the world. Go ahead, AO. What did you think of Cody and Brock? I basically said everything I have to say on the match, bro. Right. I've said my gripes with it. Joe Holbert.
Yes, I like the match. which
Oh no!
which I'm aware is not the most dynamic take after the conversation just aired here, folks. But
He's
I
like,
like the
pretty
match. I did not love the match, and I do have to say I hate the direction. I hate it. I despise it.
Mm-hmm.
Cody, it's time to just be a straight up superhero who wins. Enough trying to be Dusty.
Yes.
It's not. There are wrestlers that I fall further in love with when they lose. That ain't Cody Rhodes. You know, he should just be. He should just conquer. He should just beat. Like it's just. He always goes in this direction. I think he's really into it. To be clear, this isn't me saying like this is what he does. We've seen it. Yeah, we've seen it.
I said it backstage
pervert.
before the podcast. I was like, yo, Cody's issue is he thinks he's Dusty when he's really Hogan. And he just refuses to be Hogan.
Right. That's exactly it. And it's like there is a match here that I genuinely think if you do the exact same match with a different person in Cody's role, I would enjoy it more because I buy that character for someone else.
Yeah.
I don't.
Scrappy underdog.
The things I like about Cody aren't him like fighting uphill and being this sort of like valiant soldier. Like I'd rather Cody just beat him with his finish and not have any of the arm stuff. Like that's so. The biggest issue for me is the direction. In terms of the match itself, I liked it. I don't think it was, again, like Backlash, I thought it was kind of less than some of its parts. I like the individual pieces of it more than a whole kind of product. I'm all for whole shit, but I thought the Kimura thing was ridiculous. I just thought it was too much for me. Like, halfway into it, I was like, this is real graps. They went so long. I could, and that takes a lot for me to be like, no, bro, I can't. Too much for me. Too much selling. He was in it for ages. I was like,
yeah, he was. Before I switch this to Charlie, the only reason I'm not completely where you guys are at in terms of like Cody does not need to be an adversity pervert, right? The only difference is he wasn't like, to me, the way he's portrayed in the match, I thought he was like preposterously strong against Brock in the sense that this guy took like multiple F5s and Germans and shit,
right.
And he's beating Brock Lesnar's ass in a way that made Brock kind of look crazy. So to me, he already felt like what Hulk Hogan would look like fighting Brock, because like most of the time Brock bitches like people, like Brock squashes people, fucking destroys them.
No,
so,
I agree with it. It's
more,
more...
like if Cody got jumped by Brock and Brock beat him and broke his arm in like 2 minutes, then I'd be like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, just be strong, you know? But
I get that. I don't. So if you said to me, this is not the scenario we have, it's the arm deal, then yeah, in that scenario, they made him look strong, which was the one they went with. Right. I guess my point is, I wish it had never gone down in this direction. Like, to me, first match, he caught him. Second time, do an unsanctioned deal, whatever you have to do.
And then move on.
Get some more juice and let Cody win with his finish and then move on. Because Brock Lesnar is one of the great pro wrestlers ever. He's incredible. I love watching him. But, like, at this point in the game, if you really want Cody to be the guy, he can be beating Brock Lesnar at this point, you know? Like, we've gone around the loop a few times with Brock here. We know where he's at. Like, so that's my thing. It's more of a direction concern. I have no doubt Cody will win the world title. But in terms of being the superhero kind of force of nature figure that a Cena was once upon a time, or whoever.
Charlie's favorite wrestler.
You know, yes, and we're not in different. You know, we're not too dissimilar in that regard, Charlie and I. But you know, it's like I just think it was a miss in that front. But we'll see what they do. You know, in terms of follow up.
Charlie, did you? How did you feel re-experiencing the Codyverse 2 years later? You know,
I think it's just funny that WWE fans now get to enjoy this because they will actually enjoy it. I don't watch it on a week-to-week basis, so I don't really give a shit. I hope they have fun with it. I thought the match was alright. The end was really fucking stupid. He should have at least put him in a sleeper if that was going to be the spot. This wasn't my cup of tea. If people enjoyed it, it's whatever. They'll probably have a third match. Hope Cody finally gets where he needs to be eventually. I like him. I'm rooting for him objectively.
Monty, talk to me about Cody Brock.
Very similar to Hulbert, to be honest. At the start, I was popping quite a lot for it, like the horse shit with the cast, and it was quite electric at the start. Do you know what I mean? Like there was nice pace to it and everything, and there was just like a lot of fiery attitude and stuff from Cody, as always, as you can expect from Cody in those sort of matches. But yeah, man, he got after a really hot start, and obviously I really was popping for the horse shit, you know, with the cast and the exo cast and the titanium and the and then in the kind of the last third of the match, when the Kimura spot started happening, like that first Kimura spot felt like it was on for like 20 minutes. And
It was a lot. It was a lot.
it was a lot, man. And same as Joe, exactly same as Joe. Like I love me a bit of selling, you know. And for it to go long enough for me to be like, fuck, you know, then there must have. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and time it, you know. But on the other hand of that particular spot, when Cody did get to the ropes, the pop was fucking huge.
Yeah.
So, but you know, they probably could have shaved like 2-3 minutes off the spot, you know, then still got the same reaction. And then from there, you know, there was a few finishers that got hit, and then there was a Kimura that got locked on again, and then Cody passed out, and it was just kind of like, alright, like, do you know what I mean? Like it was.
I think both their matches, I think, ended kind of abrupt. I really do. I don't know. I felt like we were kicking into the finish, and then it kind of ends. You know, it's.
Yeah, it's just
I
again.
think those finishes were really flat for
Yeah.
both Bianca and Cody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like overall, I'd say I enjoyed like the first third, second third. I was pretty indifferent on. Final third, I thought was kind of ass, to be honest. And then and yeah, same as Joe again. Like direction wise, but as soon as he broke his arm, honestly, like even though it's Cody and fucking Brock Lesnar on a graphic, and anyone that knows me or follows or listens to these podcasts would expect that to pop me huge. Just those two wrestlers on a graphic, you know. As soon as I started doing that shit, bro, honestly, I was not excited for this match at all. And
because you knew it might mean some nonsense.
yeah, and just like I guess after the first third of the match, and there was like the horse shit with the cast and that, like I was popping, like it caught me by surprise, and by the end, I was just like, like, it was just, I don't know, man. I didn't hate the match. I didn't think the match was ass. Overall, I thought it was like decent, I guess. You know.
So you liked it less than Puerto Rico?
I did personally.
Yeah.
Really? I thought this was like I thought this was
I
notably
thought
better.
the meat of the Puerto Rico match I thought was a lot more like gripping. Especially when he got juice and it was fucking it was
The
more
Puerto
for me.
Rico
But
match is definitely better than
that's
that.
part of
100%.
why I have frustrations with this match, and I'm struggling to disconnect what I wanted from what we got in a lot of ways, and I concede on that front. But part of my issue with this match was the Puerto Rico match made me want a more complete sequel, not a more restricted sequel, and that's what we got. Right, we got one that focused on a single idea, and I wanted a more expansive cut of what we were teased in Puerto Rico. So
this match very much was telling you like this is the middle chapter.
Yes,
there's going to be and yeah.
We'll see, man. We'll see where the third dance ends up being.
Yep.
If Cody can get that clean win, you know, I'm sure he will. But,
no, he's winning. He's winning part 3, but yeah.
Money in the bank, baby.
Fuck you. Main event was the last dance for the Bloodline because Roman and Solo took on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the tag team champions in the main event. The tag titles main event, yet another WWE show. We got 2 people throwing up the ones right now. Charlie pumping her fist, Christine Erico main eventing another show for the tag team.
I'm also throwing up a 1 right now. Big Bloodline guy.
I appreciate that.
And Saudi was also throwing up the ones. They're all hyped for Big Rome. And big fight feel for this. Sami Zayn comes out in a really cool robe, speaks in Arabic. You guys can put the ones down now. And you know, I dismissed it.
I'm not built for that kind of exercise, brother.
Yeah, I was saying, Joe's face is getting red. He's getting a little tight. He's like, all right.
I feel like Samoa Joe at Universal Studios.
Yeah. If I gave Joe another minute, he would have the Joe face looking up at the light, like, you know.
I was going dizzy, folks. I was going dizzy.
Yeah. But so this was ultra heated. They were super into Sami Zayn. I know you guys talked about earlier about how this is a spotty crowd up and down. What they were really into was Sami Zayn.
Yes.
And you know, it's a bloodline match, so you know what that means. Roman's like, I'm going to like not do anything for the first 33% of this match, but I'm going to walk around and look cool and throw the one up, and people are going to boo me because I'm Roman Reigns. And so, yeah, I thought that in the meanderance phase of the match, the crowd made up for it in the sense that it was just so heated. And, you know, Sammy got some good hot tags. Kevin Owens got some good hot tags in there. I thought Solo was pretty disappointing in this match, to be honest. I thought like he was like below what the level that he's gotten to personally. But Roman Reigns actually I thought was the better of the two Samoans, and I thought that his stuff with Kevin Owens and Sammy back and forth was pretty solid. There was some fighting on the outside. We got a ref bump, and we got a ref bump, and
Of course it is.
Roman
Yeah,
Reigns
and-
is reaching like 04 Double J levels with these fucking ref bumps. It's nasty.
Yeah, absolutely. And what sets this one apart from most of them is that usually ref bump equals Usos interference, Roman wins, which has gotten super old hat, right? But this one led to a cutscene that led to actual plot progression in the Bloodline story. Because for those that missed it, Roman's just been a real dick to Jimmy Uso lately. And last night on SmackDown, he told Jimmy to sit down. And Jimmy didn't want to get bitched, so he didn't sit down. And Roman got in his face and was like, do something. You know, you're making a tough face. Go ahead, fucking try to touch me. I'll beat your ass like I did when we were kids. And he said, get out of my face and learn respect. And that was really, really interesting. And so here, Roman's, face mushing.
And then there was a segment at the end of last night as well.
Yeah.
That was true.
Which was even more when Jimmy calls himself a tribal chief, and then Roman comes out, and then he gets in both of the twins' faces, and then Sammy
Did you hear the
tells
reaction
him.
in that segment when Roman's music hit, the gasp, like he was gonna come out and
bro,
whack one
yeah,
of them.
it was like they'd done it before on a Raw when Jay was like, I don't give a damn what the tribal chiefs say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then like the hard cam will zoom in on Roman's face where he's like, what? And like the whole crowd was like, like,
you made Roman mad.
But yeah, man, there was a really great moment last night as well on SmackDown when Sammy's like, you know it's happening, don't you, Roman?
It's over,
you know,
yeah.
it's over, bro. The bloodline's
Yeah.
over. It's all your fault. Blah blah blah. I thought that was a really cool touch last night as well. But,
I think it's funny that every time WWE tries to separate Sammy from the storyline, it's like they understand what we all know, which is that Sammy's the juice of this thing, and every time he's on TV with them, like it's a magic that doesn't exist when he's not there, in my opinion. But yeah, so Roman is face mushing the fucking Usos and stuff, and Jimmy's taking it like not Jimmy, Jay's taking it like a pussy, because he has PTSD and he has Stockholm syndrome and shit. Jimmy's like, nah, nigga, and then he super kicks Roman Reigns, and it's genuinely like, whoa, like he just super kicked his cousin, and Jay is about to like have a heart attack, like he's in so much shock. He's like, you can't do that, you can't. And Jimmy's like, yeah, man, kick that nigga, man, fuck him, and Jay's like, no, and he's like, he's being like an absolute wuss, and Jimmy's like, oh, kick this nigga, and Jay won't do it, and Roman's getting back up, and he's like, I'll do it again. Bah! And he kicks him a second time, and you're like, "Whoa!" And at that point, like it's like in a gangster movie when you shoot somebody and you're like, "We just gotta get him out of here, bro. Get rid of the fucking gun. We got it. We're on the run. We're on the run now. It's too late. We did what we did. It is what it is, right?" And so Jimmy's pulling Jay away, like, "Bro, we gotta go. We gotta just get him out of here." Jay has his hand in his mouth. They're like clasped together. Roman's on the outside. Solo walks back in and he gets a stunner and a hula kick, and Cena retains. So very
beautiful
match, Monty,
beautiful.
I'll start with you, Mr. Usos fan. What did you think?
Oh, just a beautiful piece of business. Going into this, I was a bit slightly worried that Roman might fucking grab the titles, but what I always wanted this to be was the Usos accidentally costing Roman and Solo, which would then set up the match in London eventually, which I am very excited to go and see. I'm hopefully they come through with that for us, but that was what I was hoping for, although I did think there was a very realistic chance of them just being Roman wins, and that would have really bothered me because it would have sucked so bad for fucking KO and Sammy to lose to this cunt again, and then the story moved to Roman versus the Usos, and that would have been kind of like the third wheel again, So that would have sucked for them. So I'm really happy with the overall direction I went in. But the match itself, it was really good. I thought Roman was really good with Sammy and Kevin in both of the instances he was being able to get in there with them. Solo kind of, he'd done his thing and he was plugged in and done his little spots and he did what he needed to, I guess. Kevin in this whole storyline's popped me fucking tremendously. I love how no nonsense and just straight to it he is with it.
Yep.
Yeah, the promo before the match earlier in the pay-per-view I thought was phenomenal. when he was just like, like Roman's got his day next week, but today's not his day. Today's our day. Like, fuck the 1,000. Well, he didn't use that verbiage, but he was like, fuck the 1,000 days and fuck him. He's had enough good days. Like,
He was shooting, bro. That was Kevin Steen just being honest. Bro.
It was a great promo, bro. A great pre-match promo. Really was. Then the match itself, like I was saying, good stuff, really good stuff. And then like that closing stretch and that cutscene and that finish was like, people always say it with the Usos, cinema, and but look, this was fucking great shit, man. The melodrama, it was awesome, bro. Like fucking as soon as the Usos, like as soon as they get involved, because no one even thinks they're in Saudi, because Heyman even says on SmackDown last night, like, "Oh, you guys are staying over here," sort of thing. You're not coming Saudi with us. Yeah, and obviously they show up in Saudi, get a big pop, and fucking they get involved, and you're thinking, "Oh, it's going to be another one of." Usos,
Mons, let me cut you. I forgot a big part. The reason that triggered this like Roman rage was that he was outside the ring knocked out. All he caught was them accidentally kicking Solo. It was time to where like he sees that. It's like that type of dramatic irony in a story where like the audience knows it was an accident. All Roman sees is them double super kicking his cousin, So he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you two? Don't get involved in this shit. What are you doing? So yeah.
Yeah, and it's just even like that moment, like the crowd reaction to like the use. So it was obviously going to happen, like from you could tell by like the way they were setting it up with like the position Solo was studying. Like you could see, maybe I've watched too many hours of wrestling, but like the hit, Solo gets nailed with the super kick, and the crowd like gasps etc. for it, and you're like, oh yeah. They're doing what I want them to do.
He started doing the hand rub.
Yeah, then Roman's starting to get in Jay's face and stuff, and like again, like I've watched too many hundreds, thousands of hours of wrestling, but you can tell by like the way they're zooming in on like Roman and Jay, you can tell that someone's about to come from behind, sort of thing. I'm just praying it's Jimmy, sort of thing. And fucking Jimmy nails him with the super kick, bro. I'm doing gun fingers and shit.
I'm kind of
you said. Go on.
Kind of resentful that the less cool Uso is the one who pulled the trigger on Roman.
Nah, bro, it has to be.
It makes sense in the
Pay attention, mate. Pay attention. Pay attention, mate.
Monty's the Charlie of the bloodline.
If there was a being the Usos, Monty would be subscribed. Monty would be tuning in every single week, bro.
Don't cut me out, bro.
Disgusting.
Don't cut me.
You would want to watch Being the Usos 40 minutes every Monday.
Oh, mate.
Bro, you want to know what I love about
man.
Being the bloodline.
The shit with the Usos melodrama as well, bro. It's just there's a level of acting, You don't really get it in wrestling too much, brother.
It's
like,
pretty solid.
Jay's like shitting himself, and you just got Jimmy like, I'm doing what you should have done a long time ago. I've got you, and it's just like then he just nails him with the second super kick, and it's just like, all right, the Usos are out of the bloodline.
Shit, we're the ones. It was great. It was really good.
Yeah, the dialogue's always on point. It's good shit, man. It's just really good shit.
I realistically thought like Jay was gonna pass out from just like stress or anxiety. I think he was having like an anxiety attack, bro. Like he couldn't believe
he looked petrified. Like he nailed the role he was playing. Like
panicking.
It was so easy to buy into. Like I don't watch the week-to-week product, but they had me hooked with this melodrama. I was like, yeah, I'm into this. Like
Charlie,
bloodline.
Last night's segment with Jimmy and Roman was really good because like he got right in his face.
Yeah,
he's just like fucking do something, and Jimmy's just like, bro, like I'm not about to be intimidated. And Roman's just talking so much shit to him, just like I fucked you up when we were kids too, like it's no different, and it was
Jimmy's a beast.
It was all good shit.
Monty's this is cathartic for Monty because Jimmy's the one that everybody says is like the weak link of the bloodline.
Jimmy's a real G, bro. All this criticism, people told me he was done. People told me people told me that he should go home to Trinity.
He should.
I've heard all the bullshit, bro.
Monty sees when he waddle out there for one good segment. Just waddles his big ass out there. Just rolls out there.
They don't understand the real music, bro.
Jiggles down the ring.
Sometimes people get injured and they might put on a little weight, and it might take them a minute to get back up to speed. It might take them a minute to get back up to speed, but you know what it is, brother. Real's real. At the end of the day,
Bro, when the lights
and
are
the
bright,
Usos,
There's
and the Usos are fucking real, bro.
There's
And when
no
as soon
argument
as
to
that
They are
have,
real.
to have Jimmy Uso in the same conversation with Jay in 2023.
There is.
There is.
No,
There
no,
just
but
He's
isn't,
a
you
noose.
bro.
know what? You know what? Jimmy put on a jiggle flexing masterclass tonight. You know, word to Parker Boudreaux. You know what I mean? get that nigga super kick, jiggle flexed around, talking this shit. You know what I mean?
In my opinion, right? In my opinion, this was my favorite Bloodline match since
It was good.
since that industry plan as PWG match they had with Riddle. This and shit.
That was
probably my-
PWGS.
Yeah, that's probably my. This is my. I enjoyed this. I'm just tired of Roman Reigns' heat segments. I'm tired of hearing him talk. I can't do it anymore, bro. This guy used to know how to work. He used to have moves. He just decided he doesn't have to wrestle anymore.
Yeah, but
it's
it's
very disappointing.
It's not an inability thing. He chooses. He just opts.
And like when you sent in the promo he cut on Jimmy last night, bitching him, and I was just like, yo, he was talking heavy to Jimmy. I was like, yo, I would unironically be a Roman fan. Unfortunately for me, my favorite thing about wrestling is wrestling, and Roman doesn't really do that, so I don't really enjoy him. But tonight was cool for what it was. Generico did that thing. Seeing Sammy crying, walking down the ramp was dope.
Yeah, he got a nice reaction.
That was it was a good. It was a good bit of business. I didn't even mind the Bloodline lore after the match was finished. Just stop doing it in the match. Stop doing that shit in the match, bro. I don't care about post-match angles. Get all your lore off you want. But I think it was executed really well. I don't know why. Jay was the one who used to be a hothead. I don't know why he's Roman's bitch now. I don't know why. You would think that after Jimmy opens the door, Jimmy opens the door, you're like, okay, I can see Jay being apprehensive at first because we're still on good terms, kind of. You could all smooth over. It's over after Jimmy super kicks him. It's done now. So why is Jay still like, oh, I don't know. That's our tribal team. Like, nah, bro. Double super kick that nigga.
What I want to point out, which is interesting, is that as we all know, that the storyline started with Jay and Roman, and when Jimmy got like fully reintegrated back into the storyline, there was a segment in like spring of 2021 where Roman was talking heavy to Jimmy, like he was talking to Jay, and he said, "Yo, I'm not Jay. You are not going to talk to me."
Oh, yeah, right when Jimmy got back. I remember.
Yeah. He said, "You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. I am nobody's bitch." And Roman, he didn't back down in the moment because, you got to be macho. But Roman never really, he kind of left him alone from that point onward. He let Jay continue to be his, like, whipping boy, so to speak, right? And now the first week that he's talking crazy to Jimmy again, Jimmy pulls the trigger and super kicks the fuck out of him. So... That's
a real nigga, bro. That's what it is, man.
That's a lesson in manhood, bro.
He's technically the older bro as well, I think. I believe he's the older twin,
hilarious.
technically. You know what I mean? He's just the real one, bro.
That man basically said, "Hey, bro, I'm not this nigga Jay, bro. You talk to me like that, bro, I'm kicking the fuck out of you, my nigga." Charlie, talk to me about tag team wrestling. Talk to me about this main event. What did you make of all this stuff?
I love tag team wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really happy it's had such a spotlight put on it this year. Like, I don't know if people realize how big of a deal it is for 2 tag team matches to main event shows in back-to-back months. Like, because like main event in one half of WrestleMania and then doing like one of the Saudi pay-per-views like the next month is like unheard of in any
Especially in WWE.
Especially
in WWE.
And it's so fucking cool. And especially seeing Sammy in this spot, like his first time being able to go over to Saudi, and he's going into this the champion. He came out of the champion. Like he got to celebrate in a place that like with his people, and it's just like it was really fucking cool to see. And the match itself is like it's not the most spectacular tag match I've ever seen, but it was never going to be. For what it is, but for what it was really fucking good, and I had a great time watching it. It was my favorite thing on the card, which is probably a surprise to no one, to be honest. It was a tag match.
A tag match, yeah, right. I do
I'm very happy.
I do think it's so cool for tag wrestling, and what I'll add to that is just the fact that obviously the ideal perfect scenario is Sammy beating Roman in Montreal for him specifically, but I do think he's made it out of this situation really well, in the sense that like him and Kevin Owens are like main event top guys, you know what I mean? And they're able to, and people, do you remember the discourse, Charlie, where it was like when it was clear that Usos Cien Jericho was going to be at Mania, it was like, oh, this is such a big step back. It's a consolation prize. The tag titles don't mean anything. It won't be in the main event. And it did main event, and it felt important, and it was probably the best match of both nights, probably. And now, again, they're main eventing pay-per-views with it. So I do think they made it out of this well, and I'm happy for them. Joe Holbert, the other big Usos guy here.
Dean Jericho forever.
Absolutely. Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
I just love the way real music sounds, you know? Sometimes I forget. I was watching this with my family who are not, you know, they're not got spreadsheets for graps. And I just sat quietly and let them observe graps, you know, and just let them figure it out for themselves. I didn't talk over it. There were some questions as to why nothing was happening for the first 10 minutes. I let them talk. I said, just let them talk.
Yeah.
Because I knew where we were going. And I never, ever doubted it. Monty can confirm that. I would never doubt such a thing, you know? And I knew where we were trending. And look, I'm going to just be totally honest, and I can't be more frank than this. Everything I know about my wrestling fandom tells me I do not like this. You know? Everything. It's very dramatic. It's like they're yelling dialogue at each other. It's not the professional wrestling that I've generally.
You ruined my family!
But I've genuinely now had a greater understanding, and I'm not even doing this as a bit. You know, I tweeted this. I think I popped you with it, Charlie. Like, I've never had a better understanding of why people fuck with the elite stuff so much. It's not about what's happening so much as your connection to the characters before this story ever started, right? Because it's all traced back to that. And it's like, I've realized watching this that while I thought I hated melodrama and so on and so forth, it's like, no, I just care enough about the Usos that now I'm popping huge for it. Like, it's really that simple. It's a matter of investment, right? It's like, so I'm sitting there watching the Usos yell at each other about, you know, you should have done this years ago. I'm on my feet. My arms are up high in the air. I mean, I'm out of control watching this.
What the hell is going on here?
I was uncomfortable with my own excitement. I was genuinely, it felt dangerous, you know? It felt dangerous. And it's not for everyone. I get why to a lot of people this story is like completely dead because they don't care about the Usos. But someone who actually cares about the Usos and invested in them, this is like the most compelling thing to me. Like, I can't wait for the tag match. If indeed that's what we're getting, I'm not going to get ahead of myself too much. But yeah,
Joe,
I loved it.
Joe, I'll tell you what,
I
man.
have to make the trip.
Hold on, EP. Hold on.
Go ahead, Monty.
Okay, we've got another co-host joining us.
Hi,
Marcus
Marcus.
from Unpurist,
Yeah.
one of the legends of Wrestle Purist. How you doing today, Marcus?
What's up, man?
Man, fuck you, nigga. First of all, Monty, good to see you, my boy.
How you doing, bro?
My AO, what's happening with you?
What's good, bro?
Charlie, always nice to see you.
Hello.
Joe, real professional, what's happening with you, man?
It's good. We'll talk after about how the pay cuts and stuff work, but I'm glad to see you, man. Trying to share the screen. I just, because I know it's going to be controversial. I want to just make it clear. I'm going to talk about that with you, but nonetheless, I'm delighted to see you.
Joe, he said this split is getting slim, my nigga.
Yeah, you know, we'll talk about it after. We don't have to do it on the air. You know?
We'll discuss business after. We'll talk turkey, but
Hey, man, if we want to get into it, let's get into it, man. The rules are only the people that are on billing get paid.
What?
Joe, you tried.
I'm not in marketing.
You tried.
I'm not in marketing. I'm not in marketing. Okay.
game is the game.
You tried, bro.
Game is game.
We've kind of had this ironed down for a minute now.
Hey, man. Marcus, how you feeling, big fella, man? How you doing, brother?
Nigga, fuck you. Don't act like you ain't say what you said yesterday.
I didn't say, listen, man. You know what I mean? I got love for the young brothers of our community, especially in Florida. You know what I mean? Is that your brother or your cousin? That's your little brother?
It's my little brother.
Seems like an upstanding, very intelligent young man. You know what I mean? And it was honestly one of the most wholesome moments in the history of our channel. Very happy to see him. Seems like a future Wrestle Purist member. You know what I mean?
That's all the ass kissing you doing, my nigga.
I'm just saying. You know, it's just that sometimes people put out lists and they have Luchasaurus on them, and it's just like
a fucking child.
You know,
Luchasaurus is a whole ass character designed for children to like, and he does flips. Why would you not like that if you're 11 years old?
I got a replacement for him that he can look up to as an 11-year-old. His name?
Nick Aldis.
That's crazy.
Could you imagine if you know an 11-year-old that likes Nick Aldis, you got to be concerned, bro.
Popping huge for the Harley race references and shit. Like,
Monty, Monty, you know that video you posted the other day of like that little black kid like listening to church music, getting himself.
Oh, I
like,
love that
wearing
video
some-
so much, bro.
He's like putting on his old head ass hat and shit.
Bro, imagine your brother, like 11 years old. He's a Nick Aldis fan. He shows up to school wearing these pinstripe ass suits, calling himself a national treasure. I'm bullying his ass for those kids at the school.
Listen, man, tell your younger brother. I apologize. I was a little harsh with the stinks. You know what I mean? It doesn't stink. It's just misguided. You know, and I think he needs to come with me, and I'll guide him towards some real wrestling. You know what I mean? I'm gonna show him
like that freak from Chicago.
Hey, man. I'm gonna
Shout out Jamie in the live chat.
I was an 11-year-old Magnus fan. And now look what happened to him. He hasn't watched Western wrestling since. Joshi and Puro form.
I was gonna say, James started watching Joshi wrestling. Yeah, man.
Real shit though, Ibu. I took him to New Year's Smash 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And CM Punk was in attendance. Cut a promo and all that. Everybody chants.
It didn't move the youth.
I'll get to that. Everybody was chanting CM Punk this, CM Punk that. See some shirts in the crowd, and after he was done, my little brother turned to me and said, "This nigga sucks."
No, he didn't. No, he did not.
What a real 11-year-old.
No, I bet I'm serious. He really did not like Punk at all.
I'll tell you what. I showed a young child CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar a couple years ago, and he thought it was tremendous. He was huge.
Did you drug that child?
No, I didn't. Now I will admit, this young man at about 7, 8 years old, he preferred Brock, which is weird because Brock's the heel. He preferred Brock. But hey, he was into Punk, man.
Brock though.
Yeah. Monty,
Monty,
it's so if you watch it, right? Like
He's got the shooter shorts on and shit.
yeah,
You know?
Monty Brock is throwing suplexes and he's like, "Ah!" He's like flexing like the 7-year-old's like, "Ah!" I'm like, what are you doing? It's but
how you gonna say a kid's list stinks? It has Swerve on it. It got Jade on it.
Exactly. I mean, what happened?
Like, how you gonna tell a kid's list stinks when it has Jade, Swerve, Darby?
Darby's a good choice,
He likes Orange Cassidy, he likes Kenny Omega, he likes Jon Moxley.
Those are good picks.
I took him to Where's Coming 2020. We got to see Sting debut. We saw Kenny win the title. We saw.
Oh, you guys were at that?
Yeah.
That's great. Does he? He doesn't. I'm assuming he doesn't watch the week-to-week shows, though, right?
No, he does.
Oh, he does.
Mhm.
That's cool, man.
I think either you were gonna like play a kind of fake fan card there. I felt like that was a little. That was underhanded the way you did that. You know, watch the TV.
You could have gotten. I do have an official statement. I got an official statement written by my 11-year-old brother. Well, I did most of the writing. He did the talking on it. So
okay,
it goes here. Your actions yesterday are indicative of two things. Firstly, your abhorrent behavior.
This nigga said abhorrent. How many editors does this go through?
He's an intelligent young man, bitch. Eat a dick. All right. Anyway, your abhorrent behavior is exactly why you have been barred from appearing on Imperious, why Big AO will always be a bigger draw than you, and also why the first lady of Wrestle Purist, Isra herself, will never ever love you.
Hey, man. At the end of the day.
Furthermore,
he said furthermore.
The way in which you besmirch the name of Swerve Strickland and Jade Cargill is a disgrace to young black wrestling fans everywhere. You self-hating son of a bitch.
Evil is very anti-black.
Yo, Marcus read this statement to his brother. He said, "This sound good?" And he went, "Yeah." He wrote that whole shit out. Said, "Hey,
I got some more now.
He said, "Can you put your signature?" He was like, "All right."
I got some more.
All right.
This is what he actually said. This is what he actually wrote himself. I did most of
the okay.
This is what he really said. P.S. Shut the fuck up, you ugly old ass bitch. Wasn't no one talking to you. Nobody wants your opinion. Fuck CM Punk. Elite gang or don't bang. Slow.
He said elite gang or don't bang?
He did.
Listen, man. You see what I mean, Monty? I'm trying to steer the youth of America better. And you see the vulgarity coming out of this 11-year-old, like it's just
you asked for it.
It's just like, we could come together, you know what I mean? Watch some Wild Bull Curry. We could watch some, we could watch Go watch some, some WWF, and then that, I could.
Do you listen to
what
the
was
words
it?
that come out of your mouth?
I've got a super chat. I want to really quickly.
1994 with your old ass, bro. Get on with that.
I've got a super chat I want to put up real quick. It's only the one, I think, but keep on coming, people, if you're feeling generous. Henry Charles Albert David, why not? That Uso bro needs to lay off the fish and chip. See the people, bro. I'm telling you.
I love the way we all collected
know the
ourselves.
real music,
Like,
you know.
we all collected ourselves. Like maybe the super chat would be like a serious wrestling question.
No, it's been sitting there for a minute. It was sitting there for a minute, man. So I
That
just
nigga said
got it out
Jimmy
the way.
Before we quickly just do a preview of our Double or Nothing preview for tomorrow, I just want to say Monty and Joe are two esteemed Brits on the panel, male Brits. How do you guys feel about the Usos versus Bloodline? Sorry, Usos versus Roman and Solo at Money in the Bank. How you guys feeling, man?
I'm confident. I'm not as confident as Monty, who is worrying me with his kind of victory laps. I feel like that you're setting us up to fail there with that, But
in terms
I
of match quality, or
no, in terms of it definitely being the match. I'm not going ahead of myself until I see the match graphic.
Until you see the graphic,
until they land in London. Anything can happen. So I could roll an ankle. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. I will admit, I am slightly concerned they're going to do Jimmy and Roman, which would be less good.
Jimmy versus Roman is comedy, bro.
It would be
that's more shit, bro.
It would be very funny for everyone but me.
Jimmy versus Roman is hilarious.
I said this to Monty, and he was like, same thing, man. I was like, well, I read it and went, well. No,
Monty, how do you feel if Jimmy versus Roman was Roman like eviscerating Jimmy and sending him like in a stretcher job to set up like Jay versus Roman at the next show?
Beast. I can't lose. I can't lose, bro.
What do you say, Charlie?
I'm not. I don't care about these angles you want to spin it, man. I can't lose.
So then my last
It's too late.
So you prefer Bloodline versus matches for the next two shows rather than like Roman versus AJ Styles and like Roman versus another guy.
Oh,
everyone knows Roman's beating all these guys.
He said, "Get that shit out of my face."
Like, you can't buy into like there being a viable opponent for Roman until they get back to Cody. So just stick it in the Bloodline verse. Who gives a fuck at this point?
I think if we get the tag match, you saw the blueprint tonight, right? Like there will be a long heat segment, but the crowd's gonna be red hot.
10 minutes.
Yeah, you're going to get one of those big extended Uso kind of finishing stretches where there's 101 saves and like I will love it. Monty and I will be on camera pumping our fists, and then we'll go on Twitter and see 3 and 3 calls and go, well, called it a good night,
Like Jimmy accidentally super kicking Jay. It's going to be cinema.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, like Bloodline matches are what they are at this point. Galore, a lot of talking in them, some punches for like 5-10 minutes, and then a dramatic ass ending.
Yes,
it's fine until you get to Cody.
It works, Yeah,
it does. It does, to be fair, and I think it closed this show out very nicely. And to close our show out very nicely, a preview of our Double or Nothing preview, which will happen tomorrow. I just want to quickly. This is how I was planning to approach this. Monty, what's your boldest prediction for tomorrow's show?
Boldest prediction. I was going to say something really spoiled.
No,
just you can make it about like a happening match quality, like something's going to be the match of the night, surprise, anything, whatever you want to say.
I'm putting up the card again. I think that he's not a bold prediction. Is Christian winning the TNT title a bold prediction? I don't really think it is.
Just doing
a little bit.
Kind of, but no. Because like it's a ladder match, which is specialty. But
you know what? Christian's winning because why the fuck else would Tony Khan put Wardlow in a ladder match? He doesn't want Wardlow to eat a pin, but maybe he wants him to lose the belt. So I actually could see that, to be honest.
Also, I wouldn't be fucking shocked and disgusted if Chris Jericho somehow snuck a win out of this.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he should. Yeah. I think he's lost too much recently.
Jericho is definitely in play. I agree.
He already lost Cleveland to Arati in the or two. So.
Will Sabu take a crazy bump, guys?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Probably.
Going for a table.
It's Sabu with Vegas. Yes, he's gonna take a crazy ass ball.
He's going through a table.
Hey, are you there?
Yo,
Did you hear Sabu's Mikey Ruckus remix?
nah. Is that
Bro,
what aired on Wednesday?
yes, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because Sabu's theme was like.
Bro, I haven't heard Sabu's theme in so long. I just figured that was his real theme.
Yeah, so the new Sabu theme was like.
It's like Ruckus listened to like the first like 10 seconds of the theme and just chopped it up from there.
that nigga said chop up reverb and put it into a machine and said, all right, this is new Sabu theme, nigga.
Hey man,
all it needs is like suicidal. And then
I would say Ruckus's high point was performing the Lucha Bros theme and All Out 2020.
that was fire.
Yes.
That was
I
great.
can't give it to him, bro. That shit was easy.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. Oh my god. Remember their outfits where they wore like the fucking shit on their head and stuff?
Bro, I was watching that show with my pops and my brother. That shit was fire. They was going crazy for it.
Amazing event. Some people think it's the best AEW pay-per-view all the time. All out 2021. So.
I'd say Full Gear 2021 personally.
Mm.
And like Double or Nothing 2021 for personal favorite because I was there.
I mean, that's
That
just,
was a crazy run.
I was gonna say, what a
Wow.
fucking stretch, right?
That Punk match in All Out 2021 was a real low light of the pay-per-view.
Oh
But
my god.
I still think that it just, even with that abomination of a match,
Oh,
it really just sneaks in as the greatest American pay-per-view of all time.
oh my god.
Sneaks in.
Just
Like
sneaks in.
agendas aside, I did not care about that match at all, really, because
What is this revisionist talk, bro?
no,
Like,
I didn't know. I'm being
when
dead
Punk
serious.
Darby
I did
happened,
not
everyone was like, Punk still got it. He did the
Darby tried his best. That's all I gotta say.
Bro,
Punk Derby for me, this is really random, but like, it was like, the match was like decent, whatever.
it was very
But,
good.
like, there was
bro.
you see the moment when when Darby goes for the coffin drop and
And he
Punk
sits up.
and he sits up, I like stood up and was like, he's back. You know?
Now, I'll take this. When that match was starting, I genuinely was worried. I was like, can Punk still wrestle? You know, and then he had, about a 3 3/4-ish match with Darby, and bro, I'll tell you what, I remember the discourse during that match. People were like, "Oh my god, it's so good," and mad people were making fucking gift comps like. He did this spot from 1 2 3 Kid versus Brett, and they're fucking comparing the gifts and shit. I remember that, man.
I didn't really care about that match just because I wasn't that high on Derby at the time. So I was like, meh, this is an interesting choice for a return match.
That's fair.
You know my favorite match of that show is? It's a match nobody talks about anymore.
Miro and Eddie.
Yes! Yes!
That match is great, but the cage match is.
The cage match is good.
They did some cool stuff. But
I think that's one of the best matches in AEW history.
That's
genuinely.
No, we had thumbtack shoes.
It was crazy.
I will get my bold prediction for tomorrow is that Matt Jackson is going to set his shoes on fire before a super kick.
I agree.
God.
You know what? I think so too. I think he's gonna do a flaming super kick.
Show George you know how to do it right.
This is what I'm saying.
You know AO's gonna make that tweet too.
Oh yeah.
Bro, when Joey Janela did that like flaming super kick, the first thing I tweeted was Matt Jackson is punching the air right now because I'd remembered he said on an interview that he wanted to do that spot. So I think tomorrow is where they're going to pull it out. It's going to be fucking beast.
AEW is 100% going to do GCW better than GCW tomorrow with that Anarchy in the Arena.
Do.
I have this weird sneaking feeling. I don't know if this is a bold prediction. And this is genuinely not spiteful. It's not me talking shit.
BCC are winning. It's not.
They're winning.
I swear to God. I'll be able to put it into words better once I see it in practice. I get this feeling that this Anarchy in the Arena is not going to make me feel the way last year's did. Now, that's not to say it's not going to be a near 5 and one of the best matches of the year.
Why?
Last year,
Listen, no, shut up. Hold on. You see, the thing about backup Hangman Evil is, right? He's deluded himself into thinking that he's just such an intellectual, and he's just so fact based, facts, not feelings. He doesn't have any agendas. He has agendas. He has preconceived biases and notions before he goes into these matches, and then he looks for any confirmation bias possible to be like, yes, my feelings going to this match were completely right, and you know what? Because I saw this, that, and this, it's not as good as last year. Well, that's how you already felt going into the match, you fucking freak.
Like, think about it, bro. Like, last year's Anarchy Arena got 5, right?
Wait, Marcus. Let me just break this down. Ayo, the build of this year's Anarchy Arena shits on last year's build. It's like not even close. I just want to put that out there. It's a way better build. And the storyline is the hottest thing in AEW. It's tremendous. John Moxley's hit rate on his promos has been great. The angles have mostly been very good. And the match is going to be amazing. And I could be dead wrong because it depends on how I feel in the moment. But here's what I was going to say, Monty. Last year, it's 5 badasses taking on 5 unserious, pathetic pieces of shit. They're 5 sports entertainment fucking jabronis. 5.
Yeah, I get that. I get that point that
and so the thrill is seeing these tough guys execute karmic justice by way of hardcore weaponry and violence on 5 dickheads that deserve it. And the way that they would get the advantage back onto Mox and crew would be through underhanded tactics and things like that. And I think this one, it's not going to be that type of tone because BCC is not those types of heels. They're just going to have a slugfest and do spots on each other. And that's going to be great.
I think you'll be surprised. But fucking hell, what's going on in the live chat here, mate?
Yeah, I was just
you know, the wrestling brains involved in this one are pretty outrageous. I think they're going to have stuff.
They're going to do crazy shit. You know,
but even from a void point to the point you was just making, I think you'll be surprised that because of you see how aggressive and mean the Blackpool Combat Club have been in the lead up to this. Mm-hmm. I think you'd be surprised by how much the elite get that back on them, if that makes sense. And they get what they deserve in that sense. I don't think it's going to be like this spotty, all what can fucking. They'll be, of course, it will include that sort of shit, you know. But I don't think that'll be the meat of it, you know.
Joe, remember what we were talking about last night about selling like a heel, and we were talking about Athena kind of showing ass a little bit, you know, with how she bumped for Willow. Right. That's not how Moxley bumps and sells as a heel. Like, he's just a tough guy who's like a Terminator, where you can't.
Because Moxley he'll do that. He'll lace in those Terry Funk fucking sells where he's staggering all over. But I think he's more game for that. I think if you watch his heel performances, which the cage match, for example, there's stuff he'll take and he'll do these outrageous, almost comedic sells, right? Where he's out there just kind of being weird, being Moxley.
When he falls on thumbtacks, he'll make the eye popping face, like, oh.
I get the logic behind what you're saying, but I would say the time to discuss this is probably not the day before the match.
Of course, listen. We're having this in-depth discussion about this, but frankly, the match hasn't happened. And,
yes,
and I could watch it and be like, no, it's not. You know, I thought, you know what I mean. So we're debating this, but I'm just saying I can visualize what it probably is, and I don't know on paper if I'm gonna like it quite as much. But I say this, and at the end of the day, I think no matter what, the floor for this match is ridiculously high. I think even at its floor, it's still a match of the year candidate.
Well, that's right. Because last year's was a match of the year candidate. It's one of the most fun matches I personally ever watched.
Last year, in my opinion, was the best plunder match of all time.
No, it's it got 5 of Jake Hager and fucking 2.0 in it. Now substitute them for Claudio in it now. You got Danielson, you got Yuta, you got Moxley on one side. You got the fucking elite on the other. Some of the greatest wrestlers and the most acclaimed wrestlers in the last decade plus, who don't get really enough credit for how tough they are and the type of matches that they can have. The dynamic can work a lot, really, really well with that. It can.
Kenny's a bad boy, man. They're gonna do some
also
crazy shit.
Yeah.
It's better that this one has a different dynamic anyway, right?
Exactly.
Of course.
Last year was the maximum of that kind of match. Now you do something completely different with it's more than what Ibu described earlier. This is like an all-star match, right? But you have an angle to go with it. So I think this is going to be pretty historic, to be honest. That would be my guess.
If I'm being real, the only thing that I would put on it, you know, the comparison to last year's and can it eclipse that sort of thing? You know, on paper, it absolutely could, but it's last year was very special, you know. And the big thing for me would be Eddie Kingston. You know?
Oh man,
he was such a fucking flawless, tremendous part of that match last year.
When he wanted to light this motherfucker on fire, bro. with blood dripping from his eye.
Even just the in between bits and shit as well. Like him and Garcia were like fucking phenomenal whenever they were like fucking whacking each other and shit in that match
When you
last
got the
year.
Wild
You know,
thing playing in the background for like the first 5 minutes. of the match.
6 stars,
Yeah,
brother.
that shit was-
Guys, is this match main eventing or is it Pillars 4-way main eventing?
It's Pillars 4-way, but this
The
really
Pillars 4-ways, maybe.
oh,
This is
fuck off.
this is the match, but the title will come.
This is my personal main event.
Yeah.
But in terms of match order, the Pillars 4-ways.
Okay,
I mean,
all right. So here's a better question.
It can't come. The Pillars 4-way can't come on like anywhere near after this.
Oh, okay, so I was gonna say. So here's my question for you then, guys. What's the ideal place to put this that doesn't ruin the 4-way?
See, the thing is, I don't. While none of us really care about the 4-way, I think that match is going to be fucking awesome.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think you have to overly protect it though. Like, what did they do
I know,
last
but
year with
Anarchy in the
What
arena?
did they do last year? One buffer match after Anarchy? How did they do that?
It felt like a couple before we got to mock.
Yeah, because
might have
it
been,
was
yeah.
going up against Game 7 of the
Yes,
they had
of
the
course.
match.
Yes.
They were purposely pushing that shit back.
Yeah.
They had Darby and Kyle O'Reilly to the paper.
I remember the Anarchy in the Arena. It felt like it came 75% of the way through the show, from what I remember. I'd have to
So,
check.
we were just talking about All Out 2021,
Mhm.
and unless I'm mistaken, the cage match was kind of like the main event of the first like 90 minutes, maybe hour 90 minutes in that range,
was,
right?
Mhm.
I think that's a pretty good blueprint to follow because that match was like extraordinary. We all had to take a breather. By the time you get deeper in the show, granted, Kenny and Christian had, that everyone was waiting for the post match. But
Right.
what I mean is you kind of had a chance to refresh, which I think would probably be the play here. I think if you go too early, you may just
don't
give the whole show
don't
too
go
much
too
to follow.
early.
Yeah, so
Don't.
Yo, Ibu.
Yes. Parker says, "Yo, Ibu, did Cody finish the story?"
Bro,
I don't know. The problem is those jokes are beast.
They're not.
They're
Yo,
beast.
man, wrestling Twitter is like just painfully unfunny.
Nah,
You know,
they're hilarious.
bro. When
Harvey-
Sonata beat Okada, and they were like, "Even Sonata finished the story." It's like, all right, bro, all right. Yeah, I think the 4-way is going to be the second best match of the night, pretty comfortably. To be honest, I do think they're going to show out because for all the flaws of the build with Jungle Boy and Sammy specifically, Monty's, I know Monty's not a multi-man 4-way guy, and I'm not even really either, but
Oh, I can't.
yeah, I know.
3 ways, and that's about it.
the
They're
crowd's
going
gonna
to
love it though. The crowd's gonna love it.
it's going to be a
it will
crowd
go over.
pleaser, and they're going to
Yeah.
they're going to do some PWG shit on the apron and poison
Yeah.
ranas and double. They're going to do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Mhm.
My last question for you guys is: should there be a Punk-based tease/angle, or not?
No.
Nah,
Let
I'm
the
gonna do
moment
it.
have its moment. Let it breathe. Focus. Let's get through Double or Nothing. Worry about that after.
Okay.
Exactly.
MJF will definitely do all that Punk nonsense at the press conference. He can't help himself, so it's gonna happen. But
He was already
during the
bringing
show,
up the.
no.
he
He was already doing the
he did.
old Big War in 2024 stuff. on-
Bro,
on
he
Raw.
did the Punk Lord at Revolution though. Remember?
He's gonna do it again.
He's gonna do it. We all
I
know
wonder
it.
that can you imagine Max doing a GTS to win the match?
That would be disgusting.
That's fucking nasty.
If he does, I'm giving you guys a heads up. I'm giving it a better rating than Anarchy in the Arena. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
You are a nasty Negro. You know that?
These are the games we
Oh,
play,
No. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. This
Right.
has been a fun time.
right?
Anyone
Make
got-
sure make sure to like the video.
Marcus, how the fuck you get in here?
I don't know.
Shout out the yellow boy over here. You put me on.
Oh, this was slow.
Yeah, bro. I
Crazy
saw
bastard.
Marcus's tweet in the mentions earlier, bro, and I thought he would have messaged you, AO, and got the link
Nah,
off
he ain't
you.
asked
But
me.
then I was halfway through the podcast. Well, probably further than halfway through the podcast. I looked at my DMs real quick and I saw him, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Marcus, you should have left it unexplained. You should have been like, I just got here. I don't
Just
know.
got in here. Man.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
like
I'm a truth teller, bro. You know, I can't.
listen, man. Marcus, we appreciate you coming by. You guys, you guys.
We're wrapping up.
Check out Imperius. Check out all our
I was
shows.
doing a bit, but we could be wrapping up, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's get out of here.
Yeah, it's Robert. The
We're gonna
heat's
talk
on.
for a
I'm
minute
gonna
anyway.
wrap up. Let's
Jimmy,
wrap it
it's
up.
Jimmy
I'm
Butler
gonna
time,
watch.
man. He has to seal the deal, guys.
What did you say the heat's on?
Yeah, he called.
Not much of a big
This is
basketball guy.
horrible, man.
Aye. Listen, bro, we've reviewed the show. We talked a little bit about WWE.
Yeah,
We're back
I mean,
tomorrow
it's-
before the show. We're gonna do a
the
little
heat's
pre-show
on
and that, Heat on though. And
Peter on. We can't do too much of the spots we're doing tomorrow. You know what I mean?
yeah, man.
Oh.
So we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate everyone who stuck with us and watched to the end. Please
Yeah.
like, subscribe if you haven't already. Shout out my fellow co-hosts AO, Charlie, Marcus, Ibu, and Joe. Back tomorrow, like I said. And yeah, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, man. And we're gonna get up out of here. Peace.
Peace.
See you tomorrow.